doing tonight. My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and you're watching ABL Live. Thank y'all for being here. I definitely appreciate you. You could be anywhere in the world, but you're right here with me, live on the show. And I definitely appreciate you for that. There's a whole lot of things going on here. There's a whole lot to talk about. I guess the main thing would be the Democratic debates. Well, one of the main things would be the Democratic debates. The fifth one, the lowest ratings yet. Will the debate ratings improve at all as they go along? I doubt it. I mean, you get the same people talking about the same things. There's no actual, put a little bit of a game show element in there. Maybe I'd be excited about it. Let it be team deathmatch, the blue team versus the red team, something like that. Give it a little bit of spice, a little bit of entertainment. Maybe I'd be interested then, but as of right now, I am not interested. There's another debate coming up in December. I'm not quite sure where it is. But all these debates and town halls and stuff, nobody really cares. And then on top of that, you have the impeachment stuff going on. My question would be, how are they going to tell us to be focused on a debate with a bunch of really dry, no-name candidates and care about the impeachment process? We'll talk about a lot of those things and more on tonight's episode of ABL Live. And thank y'all for being here. I most certainly appreciate you. You could be anywhere in the world, but you're right here. And I appreciate you guys for that 1000%. Thank y'all for joining. Please like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll just make my day. And I appreciate y'all in advance for doing that for me. It's a whole lot going on, I see, in the world of news, in the world of entertainment. You have the Harvard and Yale game that got canceled or postponed. I think it might have been at halftime due to so-called climate change protesters. So, I mean, what happened was they went out there. Hold on. Matter of fact, I have the article right here. I'm going to get to the debates, but I have the article right here. So students rushed the field. They said like 25% of the field or so was filled up with human beings. Now, the students rushed the field, and they said that Harvard and Yale are, quote unquote, complicit in climate change because they said that, that an endowment was going towards fossil fuels. Yeah, they said endowment money was, quote unquote, being invested in the fossil fuel industry. Now, my question would be, how did they get to the game today? Did they take an Uber? Did they fly? Did they walk? Ride a bike? Did they hop on the boat and go, like, how did they get to the game that day? You understand what I'm saying? How are they powering their cell phones? People talk about, I have a hybrid car. How do you charge your car? On pixie dust, fairy dust? How do you charge your electric car? How do you charge your electric phone? How do you charge anything that you use that uses electricity? Okay, solar power. You're going to use solar power to keep the whole system going. The same thing with wind and hydro. You're going to use that to keep the whole grid powered? I think not. You are not going to do that. So they're out there protesting. They got on the field, and I think other students who probably weren't involved with the quote unquote protest decided to join as well. And they got on the field too. Now, the police are out there allegedly, and they're arresting people. Hopefully the police are out there and they're getting people arrested, because this kind of behavior is absurd. It's totally absurd. It's like, okay, I understand you might want to be out there. You got a certain thing to say, whatever, and that's fine. But at a certain point, we can't be just doing whatever. It's just not right. We just can't be doing whatever. All right. We got to just do things the proper way. Simple, plain and simple. Ain't nothing else really to it. You can't be out there storming the field, interrupting the game. That's just not how these things are supposed to go. Simple as that. But hey, we're going to see if this thing becomes a trend. I feel like once people do things like this, others kind of join in thinking that this is the wave. This is just the way to go. But it is not the way to go. Not at all. Not in the least bit. So yeah, yeah, I saw that Greta, the patron saint of climate change. Greta is on a what they call it, the ocean yacht. She left from Hampton, Virginia, which is like the area I grew up in. Not Hampton, not on that side, but I grew up on the south side of Hampton Roads, not Hampton, Virginia, which is a different story. So yeah, I think who's to blame? You got the left pushing climate change. It's a real thing, And when I was growing up, it was global warming. That was the wave. I'm 35. I'm old enough to remember when it was called global warming. Everybody was scared. It's talking about the polar ice caps are melting, and then was the whole thing about the ozone layer. Oh, the ozone layer got a hole in it. Acid rain was the wave for a while. And then when my parents were growing up, that whole thing was global cooling. Oh, it was getting too cold. Snowstorms everywhere. The Northeast covered in snow. This, that, and the third. That was the main thing back then, global cooling. Then it became global warming. Then you got this whole thing about, recycling, recycle, reduce, reuse, Captain Planet, all this, that, and the third. Now it's climate change. Since they can't just settle on whether the earth is getting too cold or too warm, or if we got pollution problems, or if we got the ozone, or if we got anything else going on, too many rare earth minerals being mined, diamonds being mined, blood diamonds, this, that, and the third. Since we can't really just focus on one particular thing and talk about that, let's talk about everything under the umbrella of climate change. Everything is under that. Even if it's not related. You have a bad snowstorm, climate change, bad hurricane, climate change, tornado in Kansas somewhere where always has tornadoes, climate change. Okay, rainstorm in Miami, Florida where it always rains, tropical climate, climate change. Everything is climate change. And it's a whole big industry that's behind it. Al Gore. Since when, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I missed something somewhere, but I did not know that Al Gore was a climatologist or a meteorologist or some kind of weather expert. If I'm wrong, you guys let me know in the comments. But I did not know that Al Gore was some kind of expert on weather. But all of a sudden, he is or was the face of climate change with this big, huge estate, sprawling estate, carbon emission nightmare. His estate is. You're flying all over the world. You getting chartered flights, private planes you flying on. He probably got his own plane somewhere. You have a larger carbon footprint than the average person by a long shot. But yet you want to tell me that I can't utilize the things you utilize. Do as I say, not as I do. That should be the motto of the left. I'll make some shirts that say, do as I say, not as I do. Whoever X, Y, and Z person 2020 or Democrat National Committee. DNC 2020. That should be their slogan. Do as I say, not as I do. That's how they all are. Now, Greta, to her credit, is trying to do a little bit of what she speaks, but at a certain point, she's going to realize when she tries to live like that, it's impractical. When she try to get speaking engagements all over the world, you're really trying to travel and do different things, you're not going to be able to get on a boat and float for a long time to get from point A to point B. At a certain point, you got to be able to fly and move around in a more modern way. This is not the 1800s. This is not, Christopher Columbus flying the ocean, sailing the ocean blue. This is 2019, going into 2020. We got video game cars being debuted on stage. Supposed to have bulletproof glass, not quite, but you understand what I'm saying? We're in a whole new day and age. This old stuff is just, if you're trying to do things the old way, you'll get left in old times and the world will pass you by if you're living in modern society. Now, if you want to live back in the jungle, in the woods somewhere, like some people still do, making little mud huts, then go for it. But if you want to be in modern society, trying to dictate to people in modern society how they should live, then you got to be able to get with the times. If not, you're going to get left. Simple as that. But hey, shout out to all those kids. Hopefully you guys get told something by the police when you get arrested, and don't try to fight back, please, because you will get slammed on your head. And I don't want to have somebody's baby get sent home from college with a knot the size of a meteor on the back of their head because they couldn't comply with the police when they came onto the field and tried to disrupt the game. Or boy, they did disrupt this game because it got postponed. But yeah, just go willingly. Don't be trying to fight the police. You made your point that you are scared of climate change because AOC told you so. I get it, but go ahead and move on and get done with your life. Shout out to Wayne Woolsey who says, "How dare you make me make this face?" That is hilarious. Shout out to you for that. Yeah, exactly, Retta. Maybe they should become Amish. Hey, and the Amish, they out there, they get stuff done. They build. They're like Bob the Builder times 1,000. You understand what I'm saying? They really get things done. If you want to live that way, then there's no problem with me. I'm cool. Get your horse and carriage, your buggy, whatever, and get from A to B and live like that. But if you really want to be jet set and speaking around the world, you got to get with the modern times. And I don't remember seeing anybody Amish coming to a place and telling people that live in regular society how to live. They do their thing on their own. They're not trying to preach to us. And if I'm wrong, let me know. But I always see people that are Amish, not always, they're not really a common thing. But when I see an Amish person, they're minding their own business with their wife and their kids, they're just doing their own thing. They're not really trying to be, how dare you, all this and that and the third. And I don't see a mural of an Amish person up staring down on you looking like it's kind of really ominous. So I respect them and what they do 1,000%. If you do not believe in modern technology and you want to conserve energy, live like them and be respectful, hey, my hat's off to you if you can do that. But if you want to be out here trying to point your finger, I can't do nothing with that. You know, it is what it is. But thank y'all for being here. I definitely appreciate you. If you're just now coming in or you're just catching a live restream, give me a thumbs up, like the video, also share the video. If you could do that for me, that'd be fantastic. And what else we got? Oh, so the debate happened. the debate did happen. And I think that people are just at this point bored of the debates. What more can be learned from the debate at this point? Like, what don't we know? See, last time, and okay, before I start, I think that people that are organizing these debates, the people on the left or the networks, they're organizing debates for a couple of reasons. First of all, of course, they want to have the candidates get visibility to the American people. That's number one. But number two, the networks want to get ratings. They're trying to get money from the ads and whatever else they can sell while they are playing the debates. It may not be ads on a debate, but what they want to do is get viewership. They want to get viewership. They want to get as many eyes on their network as possible to promote their brand. I mean, you saw what happened at this last debate. They're talking about MS-13 NBC and Washington Post host. Now, did Washington Post need to be there? Not really. They could have just put it on MS-13 NBC and had their regular commentators moderate. But Washington Post were involved because it's trying to promote the Washington Post through a back channel on Amazon because it's the same thing, but a different story, and I digress. My point is that everybody's trying to get an angle on these debates. They're trying to get in on a debate to be able to promote whatever they want, whether it just be their brand or something else. They're looking at 2016 and that whole cycle, and they're seeing how well those debates did. But what they don't understand is that the 2016 debates featured the Madman, the Orange Man, Donald Trump. Super entertaining. It was like a reality show. And the other candidates that were on stage were very high quality people that were articulate, that understood their platforms, that were well respected, very well known. I mean, you had Ben Carson, Ted Cruz, Marco Rubio, Rand Paul, the list goes on. Okay, it was a great pool of people. Now who do you have? Joe Biden. And you know what? It is a shame what they're doing to this man. At a certain point, this could be considered elder abuse. This man does not know where he is, who he is. His mind is leaving him as we speak. People want to say, oh, he's always been a gaffe machine. That's just Joe being Joe. He's always been a gaffe machine, but what's happening right now are not gaffes. What's happening right now is a deterioration of his cognitive ability. If you look at Joe Biden today and compare the way he's saying words to 10 years ago, it ain't the same. Go back 20 years ago, it's night and day. He's saying a lot of the same things, but the way he's saying it, articulating himself, and the way he looks in his eyes, it ain't there. And yesteryear, maybe even 10 years ago, you look in his eyes, there was confidence, like he was sure of himself. He would say some crazy and outlandish things, but he was sure of himself. He was confident in himself while he was saying it. Now, you look in his eyes, it ain't nothing there. He can't be confident in himself because he knows he does not have a grasp over his mind the way he used to. He knows he's slipping, and they won't let him just drop out because he's still like the top dog in like the black community, probably like Hispanics because of his affiliation with Barack Obama. He's like a hanger on from there. They would like to have Oprah and Michelle, but they don't want to run most likely because they know they're going to lose regardless. They put up the best fight, but they know they're going to lose. So what's the point in getting in the race to lose? It doesn't make any sense. And then beyond that, as far as the debates being low rating grabbers. Oh, and also, if I didn't say it, the ratings for this debate are the lowest out of all the debates that have happened in this cycle, the 2020 Democratic cycle. The lowest. They're not going to get any better. There's one next month in December. What's going to change from this month to next month as far as the interest in the debate? Why would you have one next month? Is it going to be like in Christmas? And nobody going to watch that. Nobody watched this one, hardly. So why would they watch that one? They're trying to get the kids ready for, going to grandma's house, and they're trying to get gifts ready. They're not trying to watch no debate with a bunch of boring and dry people. And then on top of that, you got the impeachment hearings happening. The Democrats are so focused on impeachment, nobody's supporting any of their candidates. No candidates are getting any kind of support. There are no questions being asked about the candidates. It's like a second thing. The first and most important piece of information and the most important thing that the Democrats are focused on is the impeachment to try and make Trump look bad. They have such little confidence in their potential candidates for presidency in 2020, the Democrats it is, that they are focused on the impeachment. They look at it like this. If we impeach him, we're not going to be successful ultimately because he won't get convicted. If you didn't have any Republicans that voted for the impeachment inquiry, how are you going to get 20 of them to vote to convict him on what is essentially a nothing burger? A phone call to Ukraine and talking about some quid pro quo. Even if it were quid pro quo, it's nothing really because that's DC. If you're going to convict Trump for a thing that all of DC does, it doesn't make any sense. So they won't be able to convict, but they're focused on it because they know they must do that to make him look bad. If they don't do it to make him look bad, they know there's no chance. So they're trying to give him a leg up in the actual running to try and hurt him. It's a dirty tactic, but that's politics. It can get dirty and down in the mud. That's just how it is. And Joe Biden, like I said, elder abuse. Bernie Sanders, 78 years old, just had that heart attack. Shit drop out. Tulsi and Andrew Yang. I think that they are too far away from the establishment, which is kind of hard to believe, to have the Democrats support them. So who do you have? Nobody, really. You got the guy Deval Patrick that came into the race, but that might just be kind of a signal to Joe to step down because he's embarrassing the Democratic Party. Or maybe Deval takes Joe's place and Obama comes from nowhere and halfway endorses him without endorsing him fully until the primary is over with. So who knows? And I did see that Ruth Bader Ginsburg is in the hospital. Shout out to OANN. They broke that news probably like a day ago. No, not a day ago, like early this morning, like 3:00 in the morning. And she's in there. I'm not quite sure what the exact problem is. Let me see. Flu-like symptoms. Okay, now they're saying it's a precaution. Whatever. Hold on. Let me see. Let me see if I can read something here. Now, they're saying with IV antibiotics and fluids, her symptoms have abated, and she expects to be released from the hospital as early as Sunday morning. Now, you're talking about somebody that, quite frankly, has limited time left. You didn't have cancer. She's been sick a lot, or in multiple. There's been multiple bouts of sickness and illness with her. And if you're 86 years old, at a certain point, Father Time was undefeated. And your time might be coming to an end. Not that I wish that on her, but I'm just saying I'm just looking at it in the black and white point of view, not from a point of view of hatred or compassion, just for what it is. Simple. I still use that with just King Sword. You're a funny guy. But yeah, so it might be a wrap for Ruth Bader Ginsburg. So let's cue up the third Supreme Court justice pick for Donald Trump. We already got my man Brett Kavanaugh, and then my man, what's one? Neil Gorsuch. You already got two. Time for one more. There was one lady that was going to be, she was in the running last time, Amy Barrett. So maybe we can get Amy Barrett to replace Ruth Bader Ginsburg. It makes sense. She was in the top running last time. So I think she'll be right back there this time. And it makes sense to replace a female with a female. You know, just playing that kind of card, it makes sense. Go ahead and do it. She was already in the top running last time. People thought that it should have been her rather than Brett Kavanaugh. So put her in there. Now you got number 3. And you may end up with 4 because Stephen Breyer, he's up there in age 2. Maybe even Clarence Thomas, he may retire. But definitely RBG and Stephen Breyer. So you got 4 Supreme Court justice nominations for Donald Trump. And that's what it's going to be. But hey, we'll see when it's all said and done what happens. But like I said, RBG, hey, it might be a wrap. She might retire actually, because it's like at a certain point, how many times can you get sick and have these, bouts of illness before you just say, all right, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and just call it a wrap. I'm going to go hang out and just chill. So we'll see. Slate Rock says, so what since I hear about Joe Biden suffering from HSW, hair sniffing withdrawal? That is hilarious. I hear he's threatening people now. Yeah, I did see that. Talking about Lindsey Graham will regret his decision to come after me the rest of his life. Hold on, my friend. Let me see if I can pull that up. Hello, I messed up. Let me pull this back up. All right. Yeah, but I have the article right here. Let me see if I can pull it up so you guys can see it. Let me see. All right. And here it goes. So you guys see it. Joe Biden, Lindsey Graham will regret investigating me his whole life. This picture is hilarious. You see him kind of like, like he's screaming or something like that. That's funny. But yeah, I mean, because Lindsey Graham, had said positive things about him before, and he was mentioning that in the interview, and he was saying, Lindsey Graham just, he's sucking up to Trump and he wants to be reelected, this, that, and the third. But it's like, look, you need to be investigated. You and Hunter need to be investigated because of this whole Burisma situation, Ukraine, China. I mean, if this were Donald Trump engaged in a thing like this with, let's say, Jared, nobody on the left would oppose an investigation. They're trying to impeach him over a phone call that was very innocent, quite frankly. So why shouldn't you at least be investigated over an obvious thing? You got on television, sir, and said that you went to Ukraine. You were the special envoy to Ukraine appointed by Barack Obama. At the same time this happened, your son gets this cozy deal with Burisma for like $80,000 per month to be on the board and do nothing. Burisma was investigated by a Ukrainian prosecutor who was quote unquote corrupt, according to some people. You go over there to Ukraine while Burisma is being investigated by the prosecutor and say, hey, if you don't fire the prosecutor, you won't get this big amount of money from the USA and guaranteed loans. Within a few hours, the guy was fired. He said that on TV. So if you get on TV and admit to threatening Ukrainians with money being taken away if they don't fire a person and the person gets fired, how can that not be investigated? But Donald Trump is on the verge of impeachment for allegedly asking for investigation into you, and maybe said he was going to withdraw the money or not give the money. Maybe according to what they say. I think that's not the case. That's not what happened, because the money was given and there was no investigation. But yet you can do what you do and get away scot-free. There's BS. So you can threaten Lindsey Graham while you want to, but you should be investigated. It is what it is. But shout out to you. HSW was hilarious. Hair sniff withdrawals. Funny. Alrighty. But hey, I want to see. Okay. I don't want to see Joe Biden on the debate stage with Trump. I mean, You got to understand, Joe Biden has been defeating himself out there on the campaign trail. Unprompted, just saying things that shouldn't be said, doesn't know where he is, who he is. He's beating himself. So imagine when you got somebody, it's like if you can't even stand up and you get into the ring with Mike Tyson. It's not even fair. You don't even want to see that. It's like seeing somebody just get beat. Like, it's just unfair for that to happen. But if they want to do that, then what am I to do? If we're telling you, hey, just go ahead and forfeit, let me just win, but you want to get into the ring anyway, it's like, all right, man, if you want to do this, we can do it. I'm going to beat you down, but if that's what you desire and you refuse my, my olive branch, just stop and let me win, then, hey, you signed up for it. Don't get upset when you just get stomped into the ground, into dust. When you get stomped into wine, don't cry to me. It is what it is. But shout out to everybody in the building. I appreciate y'all. And like the video if you're liking what you heard so far. Also, share the video as well. That does me a tremendous service. Now, Prince Andrew got fired. Now, to clarify, if I was not clear in my previous video, he did not get fired from the royal family. Like, he's still a royal, of course. And if you don't know who Prince Andrew is, that is the Queen Mother's son, her second oldest. The first oldest is Prince Charles. His sons are Harry and William. And I think Harry's married to Meghan Markle. Now, Prince Andrew got caught out there with Epstein. This man did an interview on BBC talking about, well, I couldn't avoid Epstein because I was friends with Ghislaine and Ghislaine was friends with Epstein. Crazy stuff. This guy went to Epstein's house in 2010 after he got home, after he was released from jail from the original child sex charges. He was locked up in 2008 in Florida on a child sex thing. There was a VIP dinner that Epstein hosted after he got released, and the guest of honor was Prince Andrew. Andrew says, yo, I don't party, this, that, and the third. Meanwhile, you get all kind of evidence of him partying, pictures, him looking halfway drunk, all kind of stuff. He stayed at Epstein's house for 4 days in 2010, talking about it was convenient. And he said he flew from UK to New York to, quote unquote, end their friendship. Now, why do you need to fly to New York and stay at this man's house for 4 days to end your friendship? Convenient. You are Prince Andrew, sir. You can stay wherever you want. You got all kind of power that we don't have. All kind of money, endless money. So what are you even doing? You got your lifestyle paid for by the taxpayer, but you got to stay with, of all people, a convicted, at this point, rapist, pedophile, Jeffrey Epstein. Come on, man. Now, guarantee you this. If he were not a royal, he might get Princess Diana. You already know what time it is with that. They don't really play around with that type of thing. But rather than, having a tragic car accident, he was just dismissed from public life. He's still part of the royal family. He can still do whatever he wants, but he's just not going to be doing public appearances as part of the royal family anymore. He's done. Would I debate Packerman? Yes, absolutely. I think that'd be a good debate. I respect David Packerman because he's not he's not one of these non-serious people. From what I can tell, he's serious about his points of view, and he's not trying to necessarily be a troll. I disagree with him, obviously, but I would debate him. Yes, I would. There were some I would not debate because they're not trying to be serious. They're just trying to troll, and I don't really got this ain't no troll friendly channel. It is what it is. Is Ghislaine Maxwell dead? Hey, I don't know what he was thinking by Prince Andrew, that is. I don't know what Prince Andrew was thinking about going on BBC doing an interview. It's like, what can be gained from doing an interview? Okay, everybody knows that you were in the papers, that you were on the Lolita Express. That's already known. Just like Bill Clinton. Everybody knows that Bill Clinton, whatever his name is, was on the plane. Everybody knows Epstein was his friend. Everybody knows that. So there's no benefit to you doing an interview about that. All you do is hurt yourself. The more you talk, the more you hurt yourself. People's opinions about you are not going to change based upon your BBC interview, especially when you release information that was not known. You went to his house, hanging out with him, partying with him, private dinner, all this, that, and the third. It's crazy. It is what it is. Now, Andrew, of course he had no remorse because Andrew, he was down with whatever they were doing. He doesn't really care about any victims, anybody hurt. He doesn't really care. It is what it is. Let me see. Shout out to Zach. Yeah, you're right about that. It was a predictable firing. Amazing Polly. I don't know who that is. Is that a YouTuber? I'm about to look her up. Or him. I don't want to assume nobody's gender, but I would assume somebody named Amazing Polly is a woman. But I may have to look them up and see what's going on. Oh, that cocaine. Hey, that cocaine Hunter Biden was on. How you get to be like? How do you grow up in a privileged household, right? Son of a senator, but yeah, you kind of grow up to be white trash still. You got illegitimate kids in Arkansas, just randomly Arkansas. Not sure why he's there, but I digress. You smoking crack. You involved with all kind of political corruption. It's like, what are you doing? But you know what? I think it's a matter of the apple not falling very far from the tree because of political corruption and stuff. You got Joe, the daddy, in on it. So you're just following your father's footsteps at this point, which makes me think, what else has Joe done that we don't know about? The hair sniffing, the inappropriate touching, we've seen that. But what else has he done that we don't know about? Does he know Epstein too? Who knows? It's possible. You never know. Thank you to Jay Barrett, who says, we love ABL on the left coast, not leftist, just left coast. There it is. Thank you for that. I definitely appreciate you. And shout out to Get a Job in the chat. I appreciate you, boss. And thank you to Whitbeast on YouTube. Hey, if it wasn't for y'all, I couldn't be here at all. And thank you to all the other super chatters. I'm going to get to you guys right quick. Who do we have here? Shout out to Matthew Richardson, who says, I love the McCain is gone version of Senator Graham. Oh, yeah. Hey, I'm with you on that one, man. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you to Dwayne Mosley for the super chat. I appreciate you. Thank you to Joshua Perez, who says, I have Don Jr. Triggered book, reading it tomorrow. There you go. Hers a good book. I've not read it yet myself, but I heard it was good. Shout out to Heckle and Slide, who says, love your work. Happy Thanksgiving. Right back at you. Thank you for your donation. Thank you to Devin Mackinac, who says, ABL, thanks for letting me call you a friend. Hey, it's all good. Thank you for your donation. I definitely appreciate you. Thank you to Will Redding, who says, how telling is it when you get fired from your own family? Yikes. Exactly. Thank you for your super chat. Definitely appreciate you, boss. And is that everybody I got? Yeah, I got everybody. All righty. And shout out to everybody that was with me when I did the stream about the debate. I know it was hard to get through everything, but I thank y'all for still hanging around. And shout out to Joshua Perez for the super chat earlier with the emoji. I saw that one. I appreciate you, boss. Let me see. Did I get everybody? I think I did. And shout out to Blue Sky Shine for becoming a member of the ABL squad. I appreciate you for that. You guys have been fantastic. Yes, everybody like the stream. Shout out to my man, Get a Job. Everybody like the stream. It does wonders. You know what? Every year they try to cancel Thanksgiving, but I'm not buying it. They try to say, oh, it's oppressive. I was that in the third. You know what? The thing about it is America has been through a lot, and we have, started in an imperfect place. We always strive towards perfection. We are the country that strives the most towards perfection in the world, which is why everybody wants to come here. It's a great place to be. You can be a nobody and become somebody. Where you're born does not dictate where you'll end. So people want to come here because of that reason. Is it a perfect country? No. No country on earth is perfect, nor has any country ever been perfect, but we're the best. Everybody knows it. Everybody wants to be here. So there are some things that we do, like Thanksgiving. It's just American tradition. We can all relate to Thanksgiving dinner. We can all relate to these things as Americans, certain American traditions, Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, 4th of July. We can all relate to those things. It's what we have in common. And when people try to break away those things we have in common, that's when you have more social decay. People not getting along with each other, the lack of trust, the lack of unity. That's what they want to do, is to try and divide us and then conquer. It's the oldest trick in the book, but we're not going to let that happen. So, Thanksgiving shall not be defeated. We're still going to keep on rocking. If you're a vegan, eat turkey for one day. Just break the cycle for one day. It's all right. You can eat a turkey, get a little tofu in there too, rather than stuffing, and then just have a good time. Have that be that. Do I think Chink will win? I think not. I think not. I mean, does he have a chance of winning? I guess. But then again, you know what? I take that back. It's possible you could win, but I just don't know. I don't know where he's running, like the exact district. Is it a soft district? Is it one that he can easily win, or what's going on? I don't want to take people for granted, but at the same time, I'm not going to sit here and be like, he has a super easy chance of being able to be successful. But we'll see. We'll see about that. Yeah, we're not going to cancel Thanksgiving at all. We're going to keep on rocking and rolling. Be kind to your libtard family. And you know what? At the table, Thanksgiving dinner, I don't bring up politics at all. I don't bring it up. I mean, because I'm not trying to get into a debate. Really, I don't bring up politics at any point in time with my family because I feel like it's unfair for me to do that. This is what I do for a living. Like, I read the news, I watch the news all day, every day, 24/7. I'm in bed, I'm on my phone, looking at news. News is what I do. So for me to bring up a news topic and talk about it, it's like, again, going back to the example of Joe Biden versus Donald Trump. You have Mike Tyson and Donald Trump versus a tomato can and Joe Biden. It's unfair. It's unfair for me to be talking about politics because the average person does not know as much as me. They don't have time to really be looking into this and understanding what's going on. So it's just not fair from that point of view. And then beyond that, I don't want it to be weird, and I want to just enjoy family and not be focused on just, things that I always focus on, which is the news and politics. Have a little bit of a break from that. But, if I got a cousin that wants to get kind of raucous, we can go outside and handle it that way. But we're not going to be at this table disrupting the family or nothing like that. That's how I do. So it is what it is. But hey, if you want to bring up politics at your table, hey, if you're going to do that, be ready for whatever comes next. That's all I'm saying. Be ready for whatever comes next. That's all. Be ready for people to get upset, for stuffing and turkey legs to be thrown across the room. Be ready for that. Be ready for the cranberry sauce to get thrown right at your head in the can. Still closed. Be ready for that. Oh, people get salty during the 1804. People get salty. I noticed that when people that are not up on politics get schooled, they get so mad. So, I mean, I don't do it to family. To regular normies that want to challenge me, you get schooled all day long, and I enjoy that. But to my family, I leave them alone. I don't even say nothing. Like, when they try to approach me, I just be like, nah, we're not going to do that. And sometimes when you don't want to engage, they get mad too, but I don't care. I'm going to just hold on to that as my, sorry about that. That's just my particular policy, to not involve my family in politics, having a discussion at dinner table or something like that. I just ain't going to do it. That's all that it is. But thank y'all for joining. How many we got in the room? We got about 500 or so, I guess. Yeah, thank y'all for joining. Thank you to Alex Ford, who says Arizona love ABL. Yeah, shout out to Arizona. Hot, a little hot down there, but it's all good. I guess it depends on where you are, though. You in Phoenix, it's a different story than Flagstaff. But Phoenix, you're talking about hot, good grief. I mean, the heat is something else. It's a different heat. It's no moisture. It's like, can I get some water right now? Can I get a water IV just strapped to my back and I can walk around that way? Because you're ready just to pass on out as soon as you go outside. Let me see. All right, I'm reading some of the chat here. Mitch Connor says, "Wear your MAGA hat at the dinner table." I can't do that. I ain't gonna be able to do it. But some people, hey, I put it to you like this: if you have a little beef with your family, you might be kind of upset with them. Put it on right there at the table, and send a message that way, and then you'll send a message for sure. You'll send a message. Ain't no doubt about it. Oh, it's going to be a great Thanksgiving, though. It's going to be great. I'm ready just to eat, and it's going to be all good. This year has flown This year has flown by really fast. We're already on Black Friday, Thanksgiving. That's wild. That is super wild. But I will be doing my show on Wednesday as normal, and then also on Saturday, because Thursday I'll just I'll take that day off. But Wednesday and Saturday I'll still be doing my show as normal for sure. I'm gonna get to the calls in just a moment. Alrighty. Did I have anything else I want to talk about? I think I pretty much covered everything. Okay, let's get to the calls. You guys already know. You already know what time it is. The number to call is 434-658-1220. Let me make sure my Skype and everything is correct. Then we can get rocking and rolling. Let me see. I got a super chat that just came through. Thank you to Zach, who says, "I think we should all put politics aside and watch some football over turkey, ham, pie, and potatoes. Go Saints, and thanks for all you do, ABL." Hey, no problem. Thank you for your donation and your support. I definitely appreciate you, and I'm right there with you. My team is the Vikings, Minnesota Vikings. Been a fan ever since Randy Moss got drafted. I was born in Rand, West Virginia. I got family still there in Rand right now today, and of course, Randy Moss is from Rand. When he got drafted, everybody in my family on both sides, it was like wherever you were in the world, you had a party at your place, at work, at your house. Everybody had a party, because when you got a town of 1,000 people and you have a guy that makes the NFL who everybody knew. So ever since then, I've been a Vikings fan for life, 100%. Because I grew up in Virginia, like Southern Virginia. There's no team there. You got the Redskins in D.C., but that's not really Virginia necessarily. So you could always have a different team, the Cowboys, Redskins. But when Randy got drafted, I was a Vikings fan at that particular point and been that way ever since. Oh, that's a good question. Are the Browns playing the Steelers on Thanksgiving? I don't know. I think they are, actually. And that's going to be an issue because of that whole thing that happened with your man, Myles Garrett. That was a good question. Yeah. Very, very good question. All right, let's get to the calls. You guys know the drill. The number to call is 434-658-1220. Let me make sure my stuff is working and everything's good to go. Do I think Texas will flip? Not anytime soon. I don't think it will, because they're so deeply red and it's so big. I don't think you're going to be able to flip it. It's possible. I think California flipped, but California is a different kind of story. I don't think Texas will flip. If it does, it won't be anytime soon, in my humble opinion. But let me get to my first call here. All right, Matt, what's going on?
Hey, ABL, how's it going?
Everything's
Hey,
good, man. What's happening?
you're making a really good point about Joe Biden kind of just beating himself. Uh, Everybody's running interception for that guy, and he's still losing.
Right, exactly. That's my thing. It's like, if he just were to go out there and just kind of coast, cruise, not do too much or too little, he'd be in a better position. But he's out there just making himself look terrible every single time he goes out. So that's his fault.
Yeah, and at first I kind of, I think we talked earlier. I think the economy is going to be a big problem for Trump coming in this next year. Um, but I think if you even throw that on the pile, I think it's still going to be hard for any of these guys that are primarying to beat him.
Yeah, nobody really has a chance in the primary. I mean, the debates are just performing worse and worse. The attention in the Democratic Party is being spent on the impeachment, and nothing has been done for the candidates. They don't care about that, and it's like a secondary story, the presidential race, over but after the impeachment is presidential race, and it shouldn't be that way.
Yeah, Andrew Yang was complaining about not getting media attention, but right when you were talking about Joe Biden sort of self-destructing or getting beat by himself, I was like, geez, and probably Yang is doing good is because he's not getting attention. And if he got more attention, he would probably start to fall apart too.
Well, that's a good point. Yeah, I mean, you can see it that way because the more the spotlight is on you, the more chance you have to make yourself look bad. Now you're gonna start to say things. You're gonna get some tough questions. So that's a good way to look at it.
Hey, did you notice that Prince Andrew brought up a pizza shop in his interview?
Yeah, that was strange. I was like, why would you? That was really weird.
That was the weirdest part, and I'm not a conspiracy theorist per se. I try to long arm a lot of that kind of stuff, but I think he's sending a doomsday message. I think that one of these high profile guys is going to go down, and the whole book is going to get opened up.
I mean, it could happen. It definitely could happen. I mean, we'll have to see about that. But I mean, I think at this point we all know that it's some strange things going on in the world. It's just a matter of, I guess, who's going to expose it first or what.
Yeah, and there's a lot of really big people that are they're just weird. I mean, I get like a weird vibe from Adam Schiff. I get like the Podestas. You don't even have to say that, but even like I was mentioning that Mark Zaid, that lawyer, when I was talking about anthrax, he goes to Disneyland by himself and things like that. Washington D.C. is just like a epicenter of really bad stuff.
Man, have you ever seen a movie called A Devil's Advocate?
I have, yeah.
That's DC. That's like how people they just jogging around and their faces kind of turn. You go into parties, you got beautiful women. It's the same thing. I kind of feel like that's DC.
I go there to party.
Yeah.
Yeah, I go out there. If you like to drink, it's a place to go. But one of the big problems is that everyone's kind of a transient and a transplant. A lot of people are just hyper career motivated and they don't have families. It's not a lot of families are there. They have a huge just problem with not being treating families and kids right there, I think.
Yeah, because they don't have anything like that themselves, so they have no respect for family, for children, or anything else.
Yeah, man, that's all I got for you. Keep up the great work, and thanks for the show.
All right, thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Yeah, bye.
All right, let me go ahead and fix that ring for you right quick. Thank you to my man Matt for the call. Definitely appreciate you. Yeah, that's a good point that he made about people in DC. They don't have families. They don't respect family. They abuse children. Yeah, that's a very good point. A lot of transient people. They come from all over the world. That's why Virginia has flipped. It's because of the DC transients that are not from Virginia. People that come from California, New York, etc. They are the reason why DC is different, or why Virginia is different. DC as well, but definitely Virginia. All right, let me get to my next call. All right, caller, who do we have?
Hey, it's your pick skin messiah calling Kaepernick over here, number 7, calling to get you back for all that trash and backstabbing you've been doing to me lately.
Okay. Now we got Colin Kaepernick in the building. What did I say about you, sir, that was incorrect? I thought I was pretty on point with my remarks.
You just been backstabbing me all the time, calling me, talking, putting out Facebook posts about me being all about the money. With all the backstabbing, I ought to back up on you with my Kia Optima hybrid that I've been driving around.
Was that an ad, sir?
No, that is not an ad. Although if you want to ad really well, you might want to get a TI 95 calculator for your child. Great for the college student or your grad, even if they're going into the market.
Oh, okay, very interesting. Well, you're a great pitchman, so you just did it right there, and that was a big part of what I said. Your whole thing is just to be a brand ambassador for Nike, to push your own products, your own line of shoes. I mean, you had your shoes on in the workout. You're taking pictures with your own photographer. You're putting them out to the media, and you had the jersey on as well. And the people that came to the quote unquote new location in Georgia, they all had on the new shirts you have, the I Know My Rights, all that stuff. So it seemed like rather than it being a workout to try and get back to the NFL, it was a merchandise launch event. How you feel about that?
ABL, I've been here for 3 years. I've been denied for 3 years, and you've been hating me for 3 years. And you could see from my passes on last Saturday's workout that I can spread the field just like you can spread that creamy goodness of Skippy peanut butter all over your bread, put it in a sandwich, give it to your kids to go to school.
Okay, hey, well, great ad there, but it's kind of hard to see what a person can do by just playing catch out there on the field. That's pretty much what was going on. You were playing catch. In the NFL, talent scouts can't really tell much from that. So I didn't really see too much out there from you, boss.
Well, scouting is a little difficult. That's why if you're getting a new car, you might want to go to Carfax. You can see the vehicle VIN. You can know any of the, really relevant stuff for the car that you want to buy. And that's really, scouts just want to get a good idea. And if you want a great idea and to pitch it to someone and give yourself a chance to get out in the market, you might want to sign up for Fiverr. So young professionals can sell their skills to prospective short-term employers.
Well, okay. I mean, you've done quite a bit of pitching of products right here, a lot of ads. So don't you see where I'm coming from? I mean, you keep doing ads. So wouldn't it be logical for me to think that maybe you're just a pitch man and not really trying to play football? And quite frankly, I don't even really blame you, because if I could just be out here doing commercials, why would I play football? No concussions, no risk of debilitating injury, knees, shoulders, back, internal organs, CTE, brain injury. You're doing the right thing, but what you are not doing is being honest. Just be upfront and be real. Just say, you know what? I'm done with football. I can't play anymore. What I want to do right now is just be a spokesperson for all these random brands of products and make money that way. How about that?
Nah, ABL, I think all you're doing is hating, and you're trying to keep me from giving the inside scoop to real football fans. And speaking of scoop, if you got a cat that really can't keep a lid on it, you might get Scoop Away multi-cat kitty litter. You can have 5, 6, 12 cats, work for MSNBC as an analyst, have glasses and talk about impeachment all the time, and you don't have to worry about any of those cats messing up your house, ABL. So I still don't see how you have any dirt on me.
Well, somebody in the chat asked, how many sponsors do you have? Like, how many people are actually backing you? How many sponsors do you have?
It's easy for me to keep track of how many sponsors that I have with my TD Ameritrade app that I go everywhere. I know if I'm day trading or if I want to sell off or if there's a SEC audit coming down the line. But whatever is going on, I know how to keep track of it. So I left my phone at home, so I can't really answer that question.
Okay, Colin. So, I mean, there's been quite a few products being pushed here. Do you have anything football related to say? Like, do you want to get back in the league, and what team do you want to play for? Do you have any goals for yourself football wise?
I think I'd like to be a teammate of a real a real dude, somebody who can really stand up for, what's really right. So Megan Rapinoe, get me on your team, and we can go conquer the world together.
Megan Rapinoe, isn't she play for a women's team? You can't be on the women's team, sir.
Oh, you're gonna tell me what to do now, aren't you?
I'm just trying to say, man, you gotta play with the men. You can't play with the women. That's unfair.
The last time somebody told me what to do and what I can't do, I ended up booking another field about an hour away in Georgia. So you just try it, ABL.
Hey, I mean, I'm just throwing things out there. If you want to do it, that's fine. If you don't, that's fine. But I think you should be more honest to your fan base. You might get a little bit of a better reaction that way. That's all. That's all I'm saying.
All right. I guess I'll consider taking the advice from a backstabber. And meanwhile, I'll be sipping here on these. I got some Angry Orchard right here, ABL. Some great Angry Orchard to protect me. No more poison apples like the type you're feeding me.
All right. Well, you enjoyed it, and I thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
All right. Have a good night.
Same to you. All right, you guys. That was Colin Kaepernick. No, that was not a person who was just playing the part and doing improv live on the show. That was actually Colin Kaepernick. He says that he wants to play in the NFL. But I counted like about 35 sponsors he has, and I did not hear much football talk there, so you already know what time it is. Make it, 1 + 1 is still 2 at the end of the day. Let's get to the next call, though. Let's go to 617 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, what's up, man? You gotta keep your guys happy, right? That's the deal.
What happened? What's going on?
You gotta keep them happy. That's what it is.
Hey, I'm just being myself, sir.
Are you being yourself? Okay. So you say you're being yourself. Okay. So do you know why HR 40 is about a conversation? Do you know why?
Nah, you tell me.
No, but you should know. I mean, you're the one that said that you're talking and nothing happened. So
well, it's the truth. It is what's going on.
Well, the reason is because Republicans had not supported it, overwhelming. There's some Democrats had no support either. I'm not blaming political parties. And like I told you before, this issue should be an issue of a country that everybody should come together because this thing happens. It wasn't just no accident. It wasn't just somebody make stuff up. These things happen, and they should be respected, and both parties should come together. And the reason that it's a conversation is because when it's damage, of any kind of damage, lawsuit or anything that has to do, I'm just trying to make it normal so you could understand or your audience can understand. First is an evaluation, and when it's an evaluation, there's discussion. That's the reason there should be a conversation from not only slavery, Jim Crow laws. I mean, you know what happened in Tucson, right? You know the Black Wall Street story,
but before you continue, I got to tell people in the chat what you're talking about because they may not know. Now, HR 40 is a bill that Sheila Jackson Lee introduced, if I'm not mistaken, that is to have a conversation about reparations. What should be the actual payout? Who should get it? Why it should be done? Slavery, segregation, Jim Crow, all of that is to be discussed in HR 40. Now,
you said
hold on, sir. Wait a minute. I got to explain what's going on. Sir, listen. I got to explain to the people what's going on so they're not lost. Now, what I said in my video was Democrats always just want to talk about reparations. When it's brought up at any kind of event, they'll say, oh, we'll talk about it. They don't really want to get it done. But when it comes to DACA and stuff like that, oh, let's go ahead and do that right now. There's never a discussion. And quite frankly, slavery's been done for a very long time. Over 150 years now, 150 years, we were talking about it for the whole time. So why do we need another bill to continue talking about it? Either you're going to do it or you're not going to do it. You're not going to do it, which is why you want to keep talking about it and never do anything. But go ahead, Ivan.
So you start and then you put people on hold. That's the respect for you.
I mean, look, man, I got to be able to get, sir, look, man, you got to stop crying. I have to be able to conduct the show appropriately so everybody understands what's going on. It's not to try and just drown you out, but they got to understand what's happening so they get what you're talking about. But go ahead.
You know what's going on? The reason that they haven't have this bill has been sitting and haven't moved because people in Congress don't care about what happened to black people in America. That's point blank. But the thing is, though, even if it gets passed, it doesn't even make a difference because all this is it's a study.
but we've been studying it for
But if you make a study, then you
100
know
years.
how much the evaluation should be. So people from Black Wall Street should not get paid. All those, you know how much was the fair market value of Wall Street at that time? $5 million. Did any of those black people got compensated? And some of them,
who should they get paid by?
Well, the ancestors for those who suffer from that damage.
So you're gonna wait a minute. So look, okay, now you're on mute. So if my great grandfather hurt somebody and he was never convicted of any kind of crime, then they found out years later, oh, he did that to somebody. Should I be responsible for that? Should I go to jail or pay some money to somebody that I did not hurt myself?
I'm gonna explain. I'm gonna give you a rational explanation. You don't let me talk, so you don't understand.
Look, sir, I mean, you gotta just get with the program. If I talk, you gotta just pause, and then you're able to go. That's pretty much all it is.
So let me explain to you. They passed the bill on 9/11, right? 9/11, pretty much people have suffered damage from 9/11. The recipients for what happened. Why this bill expired in 2090?
Wait, what are you talking about?
Hello? The 9/11 bill that was passed Congress.
What about it?
Why this bill expired in 2090? Can you explain to me why?
I don't know. You tell me.
But you see, you keep saying you don't know.
I don't.
You should have your rationale and explain. Well, so you're going to tell me people in 2001 that happened from this incident, they're going to be alive all the way into 2090?
What?
They will be dead. Most of those guys will be dead. Why the children of the people that suffer from that incident should get paid?
What are you talking about?
I'm talking
you're not making any sense. Like you're trying to compare it. You're trying to compare it to a thing. Like, okay, now you're trying to compare this whole Black Wall Street thing to 9/11. Is that what you're trying to do?
Well, I don't. Okay, so Black Wall Street is 30 cents over thousands of people died. They don't have any specific number because at that time they didn't care about black people back then. They didn't care now, but they didn't care less then. But why the people paying until getting paid at 9/11 victims until 2090? Can you explain to me?
I don't know, man. You just got to say what you want to say.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. These people have never been a priority for America. That's the truth. They never. If you're a priority in America, they should have compensated them a long time ago. Don't you believe that?
I mean, who should compensate who? Like,
okay, so there were victims from. I mean, slavery would be very difficult because the conditions. But what about the riots in Chicago where people lost their homes? Riots in North Carolina where people lost their homes. People that were burned to black churches that lost their life. Who compensate them?
I mean, that doesn't make any sense. Like, okay. I'm gonna answer the question. Now, if somebody is to be held responsible for a crime, sir, I'm not finished talking, please.
Okay.
If somebody, like, if a crime happens and a person is caught and punished, they should be held accountable for whatever kind of compensation should happen. That should be for anybody.
Okay. So why they are not being compensated then?
Well, I don't know. I don't know what the situation is for every situation that happens.
Then that automatically.
So for any crime that happened, sir, wait a minute. So for any crime that happened back in the day to a black person, just any crime.
No, but I'm not talking about simple crime. I'm talking about burning neighborhoods, destroying businesses.
So how many crimes? How many, sir? How many crimes fit under your characterization of crimes that should be compensated by the U.S. government?
In the billions, probably trillions.
Trillions of crimes?
No. I'm talking about, well, I mean, Tulsa.
Sir, listen to me. Listen. The question was, how many crimes would fit under what you think are crimes that should be compensated?
I mean, hundreds. I mean, there were thousands of crimes.
Thousands. But you don't have like an actual list. And what is a determining factor? So why billions of dollars to be compensated people of 9/11? Do we know how many of them? Do we know total? Would you have any? Why? Now,
I mean, how do you know?
Here's a question. For 9/11, who does the money go to?
people getting the children or the victims being compensated.
So is it first responders? Is it first responders? Sir, listen to me. Listen, is it first responders? Look, if you can't answer the question, I'm gonna go ahead and let you go. Is it first responders?
What is the question?
Is it first responders?
Yeah, first responders and people that were in the building. Not only first responders, people that were in the building also being compensated. Remember, they compensated men already with billions of dollars before. They signed another bill that extended all the way to 2090 with more billions of dollars. My question is, why those people that suffered, the black people that went through all this thing for not only 1 year, not just one incident, I'm talking about hundreds of years, should not be compensated? That's the question. And then the reason, because the bill hasn't got off the ground, is because nobody cares. Here's what I'm gonna say. Then I'm gonna let you go because we don't got all night. The bill, even if we were to get off the ground, doesn't matter. The bill says we're gonna have a study. We're gonna just have a discussion about reparations. That's nothing. That means nothing. Absolutely nothing. If they were gonna give it out, they were gonna give it out. The effects are already known. Slavery, the effects of that are already known. We all know everything about this whole thing. There's no point having to quote unquote talk about it. To say we're going to talk about it means we're not going to do anything. Don't expect anything. When they go out there and talk about illegal aliens on the left, they say, yes, amnesty for all, Medicare for all. It's not a question about, oh, we're going to talk about it, we're going to discuss. But when it comes to reparations, we'll talk about it, we'll have a conversation, because they don't really want to do it. But on that note, thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you. Alrighty. Shout out to everybody in the building. The number to call is 434-658-1220. Listen, they said we're going to talk about it because there's never any actual real desire to pay reparations from the Democratic Party. From any party, really. But the Democrats, they'll say, on the right, we'll say no because it's too far gone, too long ago, 150 years ago. Come on. The Democrats will say, well, we'll talk about it. It's just a cop-out. It's just a way to brush you off and string you along at the same time. It's crazy. But let me get to my next call. And that will be 720. You're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Oh, hey, ABL. Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me? Okay, I hear you now.
Okay. Sorry, I was putting pretzels in the oven.
It's all good.
Hey, so my name is Russ. I'm from Denver, and you're not going to believe this, but I just got censored from a Facebook group because I mentioned Thanksgiving dinner and the TV series Law and Order. And the reason I got censored is because Thanksgiving dinner is, celebrating Thanksgiving means that I'm celebrating a holiday where the Pilgrims committed mass slaughter on Native Americans, and then mentioning the TV show Law and Order is a sin because I'm supporting police brutality, according to the young people in the group. So I got censored for a week, so now I'm in Facebook jail.
Wow. That's crazy, but you know what? I'm not even surprised because that's pretty much what people on the left, that the young folks especially, is where they are nowadays. I just saw that they interrupted the Harvard and Yale football game because allegedly some endowment money between the two of the schools is going towards fossil fuel industry. So they're saying, oh, you're contributing to climate change. So they shut the whole game down. That's the frailty of these youngsters on the left nowadays.
Yeah, and the thing is like it's a lot of the young people, especially ones in their early to mid 20s. Like, I'm 37 years old. People of my generation, we're not that wussy as some of these younger guys are. And the funny thing is, the group that I was censored from was my high school alumni Facebook group. And
wow.
There's people of all ages, people from their 50s down to their early 20s. And so people from my age group up to their 50s, it's like, we're not as sensitive as some of these younger guys are who, recently graduated. So my mentioning holidays means I'm I'm insensitive toward Native Americans and insensitive toward police brutality simply for mentioning celebrating holiday traditions in a TV series. It's screwed up.
Yeah, that's crazy. It really is.
So, anyway, that's not really what I wanted to call about. What I wanted to originally call about was I was reading on my Facebook feed from certain leftists that that the state of Kentucky and Louisiana are now battleground states simply because the Republican governor of Kentucky lost his reelection bid, and the Democrat governor of Louisiana won his reelection bid. So, now they're saying that the demographics in the southern states are changing, and that Trump is not stated to win because of the Democrats that won there. I think it's stupid. I think it's totally idiotic. Because they ignore all of the Republicans that won in the state, both of those states. They ignored those races and just focused on the governors.
Okay.
So, I do realize that the demographics in those states are changing, but you know what? You still have a lot of good people down in both those states that are active voters. Number one, a lot of people in Kentucky didn't like the way Matt Bevin was handling things, and then John Bel Edwards, Democrat governor of Louisiana, he appeared to be more conservative and had a little bit more of a conservative record. But he had a Democrat by his name. So,
yeah,
you also have to understand that there are Trump supporters that will vote for Trump en masse, but will not necessarily vote Republican. Okay, because a lot of them are, a lot of Trump supporters now are, former Democrats that don't identify with leftists, but they can't bring themselves to vote for Republicans, but they will vote for Trump. So you have to take that into consideration as well.
Yeah, people don't really understand that. Like West Virginia, they voted for my man. I forget his name. The what's that?
Joe Manchin.
Yeah, Manchin. Yeah, they voted for him, but they also voted for Trump. It's deeply red when it comes to Trump, but they still voted for Joe Manchin. Like different places have different kinds of culture, and the people there, they want different things and need different things. That's why the Electoral College is so great, because you can't just overlook these people, because people aren't the same wherever you go. And that's, people kind of get afraid of things like that. They think that it would just translate to the national election. That's not necessarily true. They might vote for a Democrat for the governor, but then go all the way in and vote for a Republican when it comes to the president.
Well, exactly. And not only that, but the state of Kentucky has had a history of Democrat governors, over the past decade or so, and yet they still vote red when it comes to presidential elections. So I'm sorry, but the leftist argument just does not fly there. Okay?
Right.
So, state elections, while they are important, don't always necessarily reflect on how presidential elections are going to be. And so for the leftists as well as the media to just totally jump on board and say, "Oh my gosh, these southern states are now becoming battlegrounds," it's totally far-fetched. And then a lot of people worry about Texas turning blue because liberals are moving down there. Well, you know what? I just read a report that the wall on the Texas border is being built, and it's full speed ahead. So they're stemming the tide of illegal immigration from down the Texas border, which is going to keep Texas red a little longer. So
right. So
anyhow, I say, guys, don't worry about it. Don't fall for the fake news media, and don't be easily influenced by your friends that say, "Oh, the southern states are going battleground." It's like people are going to turn out and vote for Trump. In fact, next year I predict that there are a lot more people that are going to vote for Trump this time around than there were in 2016. So, we got to be active. We got to go out and vote. We can't just be complacent and say think he's an automatic win, which he's not. But at the same time, there are a lot more of us out there than you think, and just don't don't be depressed. Don't be dismayed. Just go out there, do your part. That's all I got to say.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right. Take care, man.
All right, now take care. All right, great call. Yeah, the whole demographic thing. People just they look at a certain thing and they think it's one way, but it may not necessarily be that way. Not all the time. But thank y'all for being here. I definitely appreciate y'all. Give me a thumbs up if you've not done so. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff for me. All righty, let me see here. Yeah, it's going to be a landslide. I mean, look at the field. Who do they have over there that can actually succeed? I don't really see anybody that can actually make something happen. I just don't see it. All right, let's get to the next call. Thank you. All righty. What's going on? Is it Anthony?
Hello, Anthony.
No.
I'm just kidding. Yes, sir, it's me. Yeah, just glad to reach you, but I'm gonna, as usual, keep my call kind of short because I'm not really in tune with what the show is about. But I just want to voice some few things. I think all this thing about the Russia collusion, the whistleblower Ukraine, it's because, for one thing, Hillary Clinton didn't win the election. That's it.
Yeah, that's all. I mean, that's all that it is. They're trying to use this whole thing as a way to make Trump look bad, because coming up in an election in 2020, they don't really have anything. They tried to put Hillary Clinton out there. They put their best foot forward. It didn't work out. Now they're trying to basically overturn the election and prevent him from becoming the president again for a second term. And they know they don't have anybody that's going to run and actually be able to defeat him the fair way. So they got to use dirty tactics. They got to try to gerrymander districts. They got to try to keep voter ID off the table so they're able to engage in some voter fraud. Anything they can to get him out of the office or to prevent him from being there, rather than just being fair and square and just, fighting straight up.
Yeah, exactly. They just don't want to give Trump a chance. And it's just like many internet memes have said, when Trump was a celebrity, everybody liked him, the rappers, Hollywood, but till he announces the presidential run, I think it all started when you talk about the Mexican rapist comments, which was all twisted. He didn't really say that. So since the media made that up and say that, Trump said that, Mexicans are rapists, and wow, everybody just ran with it and say, Trump's a racist, he hates Mexicans, and that's how the whole thing started.
Yeah. I mean, and then the thing is, he's a non-establishment guy. He's not a part of the DC, the swamp. He's not part of it. He's an outsider to that. So when he came in, people on the left and the right didn't like him. And it was all just a kind of a concerted effort to try to get him out of the way. And it just didn't work. And they've been trying to get him out of the way ever since. And it's like the more they try to resist, the more that he is succeeding. It's like being in quicksand. The more you try to struggle to get out, it's the faster and deeper you sink.
That's true. Yeah, they're trying hard and hard every day. The impeachment did, and try to, get him out of office. But it's all just a waste of time.
That's right.
They're going to pave the way for 2020 landslide.
Exactly.
I can't wait for that day. Because I remember before 2016, wow, the whole country was divided. People were, cutting off friendships over Trump and all that. It's just a mess.
Oh, it was crazy. I remember those times. I mean, it was a mess. But hey, I mean, I think it was good though. It was kind of like a cleansing. Certain people certain people that were toxic in people's lives, they exited. It's like, okay, if you're willing to just break up a friendship over a person that got elected, all right, well, you can just go do your thing. And I think people have gained a better life as a result afterwards, or at least I hope they have.
That's true. And I think, like you said, time and time again, the average normie doesn't know too much about politics. Yeah, I have to believe that's true. A lot of the average Joe that, goes to work, goes to school, whatever, they just basically believe what they hear on the mainstream media, because the mainstream media is always like people's most, air quotes, trusted news source than your alternative.
That's
So
right.
if anything about politics, that's all they know. Yeah. And one last thing, people like, the guy you're talking to, Ivan. I think he's like, because every time I watch ABL live on Wednesday and Saturday, Wednesday Saturday, yeah, Wednesday Saturday, he's always calling in and doing the same thing, just saying all the stuff that he has no hard evidence on, because I think that's like his biggest highlight of the day.
Yeah, I mean, he enjoys the show. It's all good. I like to have people come on and, I give him some props for coming in and being a different voice, because a lot of people, they don't like what I say, but they're too afraid to call in. I was seeing him in the chat talking up a storm. I say, hey, call in the show. And they never call in. So I give him a lot of respect for calling in and saying how he feels, even though it's different than what I think. He's not afraid to say what he feels. So shout out to him for that.
Yes, that's true. And a good thing too, ABL, I like it that you keep the show, fair and balanced, not just some people are like so biased to one side. You let people the different side call in and voice their opinion.
That's right.
That's true. All right, ABL, thank you for taking my call, and you have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
All right, shout out to my man Anthony. Great name for the call. Most certainly appreciate him. And shout out to all you guys in the building watching. If you don't know, the number to call is 434-658-1220. It is always in the description box, and it's usually right here in a little ticker as that's going by, so you can catch that at a particular point in time. Shout out to the super chatters. Shout out to Vermin Ador, who says, promise you 20 to hang up on Ivan. Thanks. Happy Thanksgiving. Thank you for your donation. And right back at you. Hopefully you enjoy your turkey day for sure. Shout out to Gobinda Mohan, who says, love you, my man. Hashtag Trump 2020. Thank you for that. I most certainly appreciate you for your donation. Shout out to James O. Garcia, who says, Ivan's greatest part of the day is calling in the ABL live show and acting the fool. That's all he'll amount to in life. Thank you for the donation, man. Definitely appreciate it. Thank you to Joshua Perez, who says, I wish I lived in Florida. Hey, it might be, better in Florida than New York, just, as far as a climate politically is concerned. Depending upon where you live, you live in Miami, I don't know. But thank you for your donation. I definitely appreciate you. Shout out to Kev Cleveland, who says, salute, bruh. Hey, thank you for that, man. I definitely appreciate you, boss. But let me get to the next call. 416 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hi, it's Cigar Box. How are you doing?
Everything is great, man. How about yourself?
Not bad, I guess. I got a thing about Kaepernick. When I was listening to him, is that his regular voice? Did he always talk like that?
I don't know. That's a good question. Because, quite frankly, before he became this SJW, I never heard him talk.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't talk much. Even now, as the face of this movement, brand ambassador for Nike, he still does not talk very much. You might see him talk once a year max.
Yeah, I was trying to figure if I heard him in an interview before, but I couldn't. And he's talking like some guy, like fresh out of the projects, which
he's
he
not.
Wasn't.
Yeah, he grew up with a loving white family. They adopted him. They cherished him. Grew up in like Minnesota or something, and then California. Like, that's not him. Like, he's trying to be that guy from the projects. He's trying to be like us that live that lifestyle. Like people I know, my family. He's trying to be like that, but it's like people that I know don't like it, because the people that grew up in that kind of environment don't want to really embrace it. You're trying to move on and become better in life, not go backwards and traffic in that type of environment like it's some kind of tool to make money. It's just kind of nasty.
Yeah. And I don't know why nobody's ever touched on this about him wanting to play football. He could have come up to the CFL to play if he wanted to play so badly, and then he wouldn't have to have these tryouts of any kind. It would be games right there that they could look at and see how he was doing.
Oh yeah, he'd be welcome. I mean, he'd probably get a parade from Justin Trudeau. He'd be at the parade with him. Trudeau might put on the helmet and some football pads and a 49ers outfit with the cleats and everything, because he loves dressing up. Might even put on a little bit of blackface for him and an afro.
Oh,
yeah, and it'd be a good time. They can have a party. But see, he doesn't want to play. That's the whole thing. Because, and you know what? I understand what he's doing from a business point of view. I might respect it if he were honest. If he were just honest and then would say, you know what? I don't want to play anymore. I'm going to just go over here and do this. I'm going to be a brand ambassador for Nike. I'm going to be a spokesperson for social justice warrior issues for the Democratic Party. But like, okay, that's fine. I'm not going to agree with it. I'll speak out against what he's doing, but I could at least respect it because he's being honest. But he's being dishonest, and he's trying to fool people into believing that he's really a martyr for real. And he's trying to get attention that way. That's where I just draw the line of the respect factor.
Yeah, that's true. I was wondering about that myself. I think Ivan was talking about people who, relatives of people who died, like the responders at the 9/11 thing, getting that payout. You know what I'm?
Yeah, he was trying to say that it's like just people that just happen to be in the building. I'm not quite sure that's what it is. I think it's about first responders.
Yeah, I think it is. And that's a little different. You've got people affected immediately. This thing would be like you being affected from slavery yourself. You managed to make quite a success out of yourself twice. Right? Like you had your business with the graphic design, then you got this. I mean, how has it negatively affected you?
It's not a thing that people talk about. People don't talk about this slavery thing. Like I didn't hear about that growing up. I heard about it once I got to be like older and like college time. But
yeah,
like when you're growing up, that's not even a thing you talk about because it's not an important thing to discuss. People just got to make something out of themselves. Guys that I know that were doing well, went to the military, got a trade. It wasn't like this whole thing, oh, I can't do anything. I'm a bum on the street getting high because of slavery. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I don't know, like this, these things that they're going to be studying, I don't know how they're going to have anything like come out of it. I mean, you look at the way that these clods are with their little silver-haired ponytails and stuff at the colleges. I mean, they pull all kinds of crap out of their butts and say that it's so because they've got a degree. But it doesn't really sell to the average person, and I think that's why Trump gets elected, right? Because people are just sitting back going, "This is crap. We're sick and tired of listening to crap." I don't know. What do you think about it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I mean, people just at a certain point, it's like, okay, like it might have been interesting for a brief moment, but now it's like we got to get back to reality. All this BS is just people just have fatigue from keep hearing the same old BS over and over.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, it's gonna come to a really rotten head with. Not just that. I mean, then you've got your transgender thing. Everything was they separated everything with men and women, right? To basically protect the women all the time, and to let them have a chance at sports. That was an equal chance that they would have for all sorts of opportunities. And now you got a guy who's not good enough for men's competition, and he says, I identify as a woman. What's to stop him from identifying as a man once he gets free college and all that stuff later on?
Like, right. I mean, the whole thing, identifying as X, Y, and Z is crazy. It's to the point now where people don't even. It's like it's normal. Like it's not even a thing. Like I saw this clip. Matter of fact, I might play it in a little bit where I think it might have been in Australia or in New Zealand. And they're talking about some rugby team, and then they're saying, Hannah was a star of the team, had a very powerful kick, but she couldn't compete in a higher level, and she's left wondering why. And throughout the whole thing, it didn't mention anything about this person being a man. I mean, the guy was looking like Hollywood Hulk Hogan, in 1996. Okay, and then he's like 6'4", a good 240, strong, muscular. Like the girls are like 5'5", 140 pounds. It's like, man, come on, stop.
Yeah, it's nuts. It would be like me trying to get into the NBA at 5'8".
Yeah, it's like, I mean, we got to just make things make sense. It's like, okay, you got guys 7 foot tall. Here you are, 5'8". It's like, what it be doing?
Yeah, like, am I going to go? Like, I could just see the government, and I go there and I say they're not giving me any equal opportunity to try out for an NBA team. So these guys are supposed to waste all their time, and while I go out there and make myself look like a fool.
Right.
Well, anyway, I think I've taken up too much of your time. I'll talk to you later. Oh, by the way, I hear you should have mentioned to Ivan that there's a Popeye's chicken sandwich apparently that's pretty good that he should try out. I'll see you later, man.
Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
Bye.
Yeah, shout out to Ivan. Go, hey, Ivan, if you're listening, go get that sandwich, man. I'm sure, hey, it's delicious. You won't have any problems. It's perfectly safe. You won't get beat in the head for trying to get the sandwich in the parking lot. Just go ahead and check it out. But hey, I got to show you guys this clip. Shout out to Andy No, good guy. Met him at Amp Fest in Miami. Now I'm listening to the thing, and I'm just automatically in my mind thinking that they're going to reveal that this person is a man. I mean, look, you can see the thumbnail of the video. You can identify the male. I only got to put the cursor over the person. Look at this. Okay, now here's the caption from Andy. It says, Australian trans athlete Hannah Mounsey has been vocal about policies in sports. She says discriminate against trans women. Check it out.
At 6'2", weighing 100 kilos and blessed with a mighty kicking boot, Hannah Mounsey should have been a shoo-in to...
Do you see this? Do you see this? Look at it. Come on, man. Like, really?
...play at the elite level of the women's Aussie Rules competition. But late last year, the AFL said no, deciding she was too much of a physical threat to her opponents. Hannah believes there's enough...
Come on. Stop. Hold on 1 second. All right, I'm back. I thought I heard my name being called. I'm back. I thought I heard my name being called. Okay, let's continue. But do you see this person right here? This guy's looking like Chris Jericho, okay?
Another reason, though.
I mean, look at this. Like, look at the size difference here. This is like when your dad plays with his daughters on Christmas Day. When they get like a new play set and they take it in the living room, that's the equivalent of what I just saw right there. I'm turning the sound off so I don't get copyrighted. I mean, for real though, like, stop. And not one time did the reporter just happen to bring up the obvious that this is a biological male. I mean, you're looking like Fabio, Chris Jericho, George of the Jungle. I mean, you're looking like every protagonist from a video game from 1998 to 2003. You look like a male because you're a male. You cannot compete with the women. It is unfair. Stop. Okay, I had to get off my chest. Okay, now I'm going to get back to the calls. That was on my mind. I had to get it off. Unknown caller on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, what's What's up, ABL? My name is Jason, long-time listener, first-time caller. I just wanted to call and tell you you're wrong about everything.
Okay.
I'm just kidding, man. You got everything on lock. I love your show. It's really great. Hey, have you ever checked out reddit.com/thedonald?
I've heard about it, but I've not been over there.
It's the biggest Trump supporter board on the internet. The mods over there just launched their own site on thedonald.win, and we would love to have you come over and do an Ask Me Anything. Like, we're still looking for the first guy. There's already tens of thousands of people there, and we're looking for people to do the first one.
Okay, I'll check it out. Definitely. I'm definitely interested. Now, like, is there a Discord page? Is like, how do I actually connect with you guys as far as being able to talk?
Go to thedonald.win, as in win, and then message the moderators on the right-hand side. You can send them an email directly, and I'm sure they'd love to have you.
Okay, sounds good to me, for sure.
Also, I just want to wish Ruth Bader Ginsburg a happy retirement.
I'm right there with you, man. Absolutely.
All right, man. See ya.
All right, now. All right, shout out to the caller. Yeah, I'm going to check him out. I may do an AMA over there. Yeah, the Donald. Donald.win. It said they like me over there. Okay, I'll check them out for sure. But did y'all see that person? It's like, come on, man. Like, if you want to be a trans person, that's your business. If you want to play dress up, whatever, that's fine. But come on. You looking like Stone Cold Steve Austin out there playing whatever sport that was with a bunch of little girls talking about you are the same as them. Stop. You're not the same. All right. Let me get to my next call here. All right, Jordan, what's happening?
Nothing much. How about you, ABL?
Everything's good, man. Can't complain.
That's good. Yeah, one thing I want to talk about Elizabeth Warren for a second, because over time I've came to the realization that anybody who says let's have a conversation actually doesn't want a conversation. They just want to pontificate their emotions on people. I kind of realized that after a while.
Yeah, that's what it is. I mean, it's pretty clear. Like, there's certain things, there's certain kinds of language you can just pick up on that's meant to just brush you off and not really address anything. Oh, we'll talk about it, and you already know what time it is. But when you're talking about other things, DACA, let's do it right now. No conversation. Sign it right now. Reparations, we'll talk about it.
Yeah, it's really just unfortunate. Because I remember because remember, we've been having the conversation on reparations for about like 150 years, ever since the Civil War ended. People have been talking about land reform and all that jazz, and nothing's come up. The idea is that arguments have been placed against reparations. I mean, they're right there. From Thomas Sowell to the guy, I forgot the name of the man who debated Ta-Nehisi Coates, who brought up Zimbabwe and a bunch of other stuff in front of Congress.
I don't know.
I forgot his name, but I don't know. Maybe Chad will know. But he sits here. He's going to all these black events and talking about Zimbabwe and a bunch of other stuff. He makes legit arguments, like really good arguments. But instead of a conversation, you just end up with gaslighting, this emotional appeal, and all this stuff just to virtue signal, and and a lot of other things. You don't have these arguments debunked or analyzed in any way, and that destroys the quote unquote conversation that's being had. Elizabeth Warren also called for the national government to have this huge discussion on it. But why? Why don't you talk to people intellectuals, people who study reparations, or at least have a good idea about the basis for them, as opposed to the government, which probably has a lot of other things on their minds right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a serious thing. It's just like a carrot to be leading people to a certain location. That's all that it is. It ain't nothing else. It's not serious. If they were serious, then it would have already been something on the table to say, okay, this is what we're going to do, sign this. It's no point in having a conversation and all, you know, it's just pointless stuff they put out there to say they're doing something when they're really not doing anything.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. And it is very unfortunate. I mean, we have talked about it, and it seems that they just turn it into a one-sided argument that is just nothing more than virtue signaling instead of actually doing something. I mean, it really is. The whole reparations talk is a joke. It really is.
Yeah, it is.
Also, I think I need to clarify some things. I made some mistakes in my vocabulary on my last stream. When we were talking about Rodney Reed, I used the term excrements. I forgot what that word was, and I apologize to you in chat for that. And I also called Rodney Reed at one point Rodney King. So I got my socio-political figures mixed up. So I apologize for that.
Right, it's all good.
Also, this has been a week of a lot of indictments happening. I mean, we had Catherine Pugh with her indictment. We had Netanyahu. We had Dennis Tyler, Democratic mayor from Indiana, being indicted for bribery. We have all these people getting indicted for bribes and God knows what else. What are your thoughts on all that?
Well, I don't know about the guy. What was it? Indiana, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never heard about that person before. And as far as Netanyahu, I don't know what's going on with that. I heard that it might be kind of BS, but then again, I don't know. So I don't really have a real strong grasp of what's happening there. It could be true. It could be false. I really don't know. But as far as Catherine Pugh, I mean, I've been following that for a while. That was in Baltimore. And they got a problem with corruption in general in Baltimore. I mean, the mayor before her, that was Stephanie Rawlings Blake. Remember the whole, we gave them space to destroy? That was her. Yeah. She did not run for re-election. Might as well have been fired or removed because she didn't do a good job. And before her, you had Sheila Dixon, who got caught up in the same kind of thing that Catherine Pugh did, but to a lesser extent, stealing Toys R Us gift cards. I mean, stupid stuff. So, I mean, you have a history of corruption in that city, and it's just like, I don't understand what they can do to fix it. I don't know what they can do to fix it. It's not like the money's not the problem because Maryland has plenty of money. It's just a corrupt system that they have in that particular part of the state.
Yeah, somebody had said that it was like there's a corruption was a gene bred in Baltimore, and that the poorest person in West Baltimore to the mayor will sell their souls and their morals and their ethics for just a few extra dollars. You don't know how to combat that. I mean, you talked about The Wire. It seems as though, I mean, of course, life imitates art. And then you also had like shows like The Corner and Homicide: Life on the Streets. They were made by the same people, if you've heard of them. It's just that The Wire, while Homicide: Life on the Streets concentrate on the police, and The Corner concentrated on like the drug corners and these inner cities, you had The Wire, which had all these elements like the education system and the police and politics and all that stuff crumbled in to form everything that's wrong with Baltimore and by extension of every American city. And it seems like despite all of those things being released, Baltimore has gotten worse. Like you have never heard of like the mayor before Sheila Dixon, Martin O'Malley. You never heard about him being accused of any corruption. But now all of a sudden, after The Wire and after his time as mayor, you got all these corrupt mayors or inept mayors getting out of office, resigning from office and being indicted because of their corrupt nature. It's kind of insane.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a very good point.
Yeah. And also, what do you think about Jack Young? You think he's going to fall in line like everyone else, or is he going to be somebody different in your mind?
I mean, he was there with Catherine Pugh. That was like his her right-hand man, so he'll be the same as everybody else, in my opinion. Maybe he won't be stealing the same thing that Catherine Pugh was stealing, but the mentality of just not really being on the up and up is still going to be there. Now, whether he kind of is able to act on that and steal some stuff, that remains to be seen.
Yeah, I mean, hoping he might be a change, but if he just ends up like his other constituents, I mean, things have got to change. Period in Baltimore in politics because of the poor education system, high property taxes, crime, drugs, corruption, all that jazz, all exists at unusual levels in that city. But I mean, it doesn't hurt to at least try a different system, try a different party. I don't even care if it's the Republican Party or anybody else, but just stop voting for Democrats. Just stop.
Right.
Because it's clear that they're not helping. And as a last note, I found out the guy arguing against reparations, his name is Coleman Hughes.
Oh, yeah, Coleman Hughes from Collette.
Collette, yeah. So y'all check him out. Y'all can look it up on YouTube. He has some great talking points, and he's just shut down by all these people who are getting emotional about it, people who just don't like the fact that he's against reparations and all that other stuff. It's just pitiful. And he's a smart guy. He is a smart individual. But people just don't like the mere idea that he's against this stuff.
Right.
So I'm going to head out. I'll be in chat. And I'll talk to y'all later, ABL.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right. Peace.
All right. Thank you to my man Jordan for the call. Most certainly appreciate him. And you guys on the drill, the number to call is 434-658-1220. Let me get to the next call. 208, you on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, this is Mark here in Boise, Idaho.
All righty, Mark. What's going on?
Hey, how's it going, man? Long-time listener, first-time caller. I enjoy your work you do. You're one of my many podcasts I always look forward to listening to.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
So I want to bring up something, two things that have been not covered as much as I think they should be. Two court decisions recently. The first one being the ruling against the people that did the undercover work against Planned Parenthood, revealing that they were selling babies' body parts.
Was that Project Veritas?
I believe so. I'm not sure about that.
Okay.
But the court ruled against them on all counts. I think it was like a $2 million ruling.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was pretty devastating.
So what was the actual, what was the allegation? What was it? It was civil? Like, what happened?
So it was, if I recall correctly, I don't have the article in front of me. I believe it was trespassing was written in there on private property of some sort. Invasion of privacy of some sort, I think, was another one of the charges thrown in. Also, some sort of unlawful use of, there was something against journalism thrown in. Again, I'm sorry, I don't have the article in front of me.
Right, no, I understand.
The court decided against them on all counts, which was pretty devastating, especially because nothing was brought up about the fact that they were selling baby body parts, which is just disgusting.
Right. Yeah, of course. I mean, but see, now, could that be overturned? Could it be like, could it go to an appeal process?
Well, and that would hopefully that's going to be moving forward. I haven't read about that yet.
Right.
The other one I did hear Ben Shapiro talk about was the Supreme Court ruling against the victims of mass shootings can sue gun manufacturers.
Yeah. Now, what was that? Was that a Supreme Court decision?
I believe so.
A state or the federal?
I believe it was federal, because I remember Ben Shapiro mentioning on his podcast, he said so much for the conservative, Supreme Court.
Okay.
It was something like that, yeah, where I think it wasn't Parkland. Was it Parkland?
It might be, but I don't exactly know. It might have been Parkland.
Something that stemmed from that, where but yeah, I was just curious about your thoughts on those two rulings, because it seems like, now, of course, a lot of other people know a lot more about the law than I do, but just looking at it was kind of surprising.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, I didn't know that was the Supreme Court that did that, because, I mean, if that's the case, if you're going to say, okay, you can sue the gun manufacturer for a mass shooting, then why not sue a car manufacturer for, a fatal car crash, or if it's a bus,
exactly.
If a bus capsizes, it's like where does that actually stop? So no, I'm not in favor of that at all, because a gun at the end of the day
where do you draw the line?
Where you draw the line, because if the gun is a tool, so if a tool is used improperly, how can that be the fault of the tool manufacturer? That doesn't make any sense.
Right. Exactly. I totally agree with you. And I guess I'll throw this third one in because I haven't been listening to the entire show this evening. What do you think about the Chick-fil-A folding to the LGBT crowd?
I think that's kind of overblown, and I'm not quite sure they folded, because here's what I read from the statement that they put out. First of all, I didn't see that they broke ties with Salvation Army or the other two groups. I think it was the Christian Athletes group and one more. But I didn't see anything about them discontinuing to donate to them because of the whole LGBT outrage. And they were on a contract with them that expired in 2018. But earlier this year, the Chick-fil-A was asked about their donations to Salvation Army. This is after the contract had expired and they didn't renew it, and they defended Salvation Army.
Okay.
Yeah, they defended them.
Well, that's interesting. I didn't know about all those details. Okay.
Yeah. See, what happened was there was this website that broke the story, some random website. I forget what it was, but they broke the story, and then major news outlets ran with it on the left and the right. But it was more details than that. They assumed because they no longer donate to Salvation Army and the other group on a contract basis that they came to the left. But they also have picked up Covenant House, which is also a Christian organization. Right. Yeah. And in the statement, they said that they're not going to take any groups off the table. It doesn't matter if they are religious or not. They're still going to donate to whatever just makes the most sense. And there have been other groups in the past that they donated to that are Christian that they don't anymore. It may not be because of, pressure from the left. It could just be, okay, we had a contract with them. It's over. We're going to stop dealing with them and do with other people and spread it around. So,
and it just has nothing to do with anything other than just business dealing.
It's business at the end of the day. So I don't think it's like that. I mean,
exactly.
Now, if they open on Sunday and they stop donating to all Christian organizations, then that kind of would see it. But until then, I think it might be kind of overblown.
That's a good point. One last thing I want to throw out, and then I'll give the rest of the time back to everyone else. Love your show. I really enjoyed your live broadcast. I watched it from in Atlanta. Was it Atlanta? I think with Trump.
Yeah, that was the Black Voices for Trump. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And then the infamous, he asked the crowd, do you want to be blacks for Americans or African Americans for Trump? Blacks for Trump or African Americans for Trump. And everyone started chanting and whatnot.
Yeah, it was kind of confusing because you have blacks for Trump. That's an actual group that is already existing. I met the main guy that runs that. They're from Miami. Like you see them all the time with the sign behind them.
Yep.
Okay, so I met him. He's a good people, and they're always there. They have their own little group.
Dude,
so
that's awesome. That's so awesome.
Yeah. It was a great thing. But see, they can't call it Blacks for Trump because it already exists. So then it probably came out. Okay, let's call it.
Oh, okay.
Let's call it Black Voices for Trump. So it's kind of confusing between the two. You might just kind of get caught saying the same thing. I've said blacks for Trump rather than Black Voices for Trump. So he was just kind of like the rest of us, was kind of confused about what the name was. That's how that worked.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, man, keep up the good work. I love what's happening. I really hope that Trump 2020. Otherwise we're kind of screwed, honestly.
I'm right there with you, man. Exactly.
Yeah. So, all right, man. Thanks for taking my call, and hopefully talk to you another time.
All right, thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right, man. Bye.
All right, shout out to the caller. Great call. And thank you all for being here tonight. Definitely appreciate you. Let's get to my next call. 520, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hello, my name is Zach. I'm from Arizona.
All righty, man. What's going on?
Hey, I'd like to speak to you about probably one of the more inflammatory topics, I guess, running around today. about the transgender thing. You know, it kind of confuses me because if, you know, a man can be a woman and vice versa, why can't I, as, you know, a 20-year-old man, be, you know, 21 or 22 so I can go out and drink right now? I bet you just about anything that if I go to a bar right now, they're going to ask me for my ID. And, you know, I'm going to be like, oh, yeah, I identify as 21. Why can't I get a drink? I just, you know, why can't that work the same way?
I mean, it should be able to work the same way. I mean, the whole thing is really confusing. I don't think that you should be able to identify as a man or a woman and actually be taken seriously in a legal way. You understand? So, like, a prime example would be you have women's sports, right? Men cannot legally compete with women in women's sports. It's just not a thing that can be done. So you shouldn't be able to break that law by identifying as a woman when you're really a man. So I think that you should be able. I got a little bit of feedback here. Is everything good?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's my fan.
Okay.
There we go.
But I think that you can be whatever you want. If you want to be in your mind a unicorn with a rainbow over your head all the time, that's your business. You just kind of like just playing dress up, playing make believe. That's cool. I can't control your thoughts and how you feel. However, the line has to be drawn when it comes to legality, when it comes to doing things that you cannot do as a man or a woman. I, as a man, cannot go into the women's restroom. That should be what it is, regardless of what I feel like or I think that I am. But unfortunately, that's not the case. And I think that there should be some kind of laws passed against this whole thing about, I identify as X, Y, and Z, therefore I am. Because like you said, where do we stop? Can I identify as an 80-year-old lady when I'm 35? Can I identify as old enough to drink, smoke, join the military? Where do we stop?
Yeah, I totally agree. Like, I heard a lecture, and, you know, I agree with the message. It's, you know, why is being, like, an effeminate man or a masculine female such a problem now? Because, you know, you have masculine females and you have effeminate men, and, you know, they know that they're men and women, but they just have some traits and they express themselves in a different way, but they still acknowledge that they're, you know, their God-given gender.
Right, exactly. I mean, I'm with you. I mean, you have women that are just kind of like bull daggers. They real muscular, masculine. They probably can beat up a couple of men. That's okay. They're still a woman, and that's fine. Same thing with men. You got guys that are just soft and they're not really too masculine. That's okay. That's them. That's whatever they got going on. That should just be that. It shouldn't just be like, oh, now I'm a different gender. I think that doesn't make any sense from a legal standpoint. If they want to feel like that, I can't control how they feel. But when it comes down to the law and just things that we have section law for men and women, they shouldn't be able to impose on that.
Yeah, I mean, I think my biggest concern with the transgender movement right now is that just recently you had someone who got misdiagnosed at the hospital because they assumed the wrong gender. I'm afraid it's going to get to the point where they get misdiagnosed and then someone, you know, goes to heavens because, you know, they misgendered or whatever, and so they had to treat it a different way than they would if they identify as a female or vice versa. So I'm afraid that, you know, especially when it comes to hospital stuff, that someone's going to get seriously hurt or even killed. You know, it's a concern.
Yeah, I agree. I most certainly agree. You know, like, that's why I say we can just go back to the law. Let's have law be the law and have that be that. Let's not try and play games like, oh, well, no, I can empathize with you. No, let's not play these games. Let's just have people be what they are. If you have identification, if you're born a male, put male. If you're born female, put female and have that be that. And then it won't be so much confusion and these weird issues that pop up.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, thanks for the talk, man. I love your show. I'm going to keep watching it until the end of the days. Look forward to your next video. Thanks for all your commentary.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Always. Take care.
All right. Shout out to the caller. Great caller. Yeah, people can identify. If you want to identify as Sailor Moon or whatever you want, that's fine. That's your business, not my business. But when it comes to your driver's license, you're not going to be able to put some random character on there or nothing like that. You got to put male or female. That's it. Have it be by your DNA. That's it. And you know, it's weird how people on the left, they talk about, oh, you don't believe in science, you're a climate change denier. But when it comes to basic things like biology, male or female, or they want to just act like they don't know what's going on. Like all of a sudden now, science is irrelevant. And I did see that truck, Andrew, the Tesla truck. I'm put it on the screen right quick so you guys can check it out. This thing right here, yeah, I did see that. And yes, those are like holes in the window because Elon Musk described the glass as what they said, bulletproof metal glass, but obviously it's not. They had a steel ball, like probably like the size of a baseball in their hand, and they threw it, not like Randy Johnson fast pitch, but it was fast enough. They threw it out the window and it shattered. They thought that it would just bounce off. It wouldn't even scratch it, but it shattered. And then they tried it again and it shattered again. They said they threw it at the window the same way with the same ball before and nothing happened. So obviously there's a level at which the glass cannot take any more damage. But this is a truck, the new Tesla truck, if you don't know. Hideous is a word I could use, or futuristic. If you guys are into video games, this is like Death Stranding. This is something that you could just fabricate in the lab and drive off to fight some monsters in. Okay, this right here is straight video games. Would I ride in one? Yes, I would. If I had money to burn, I'd buy one. 1,000%. Yes, I would. Just because it's something different. But it is hideous. Now, this is kind of like a prototype. It's not really all the way done, in my opinion. It could be done. But yeah, I'm not really. And it's bigger than it looks. It's real big. You got to kind of climb in it. It's a truck. It's a pickup truck. Back here, you have a bed. You could put stuff in. And of course, it's battery operated. I'm not really sure. Oh, they said that the towing power is like double F-150, which is kind of crazy to think that you can get an electric car to do that. But hey, 2020 technology is crazy. If I had money to burn, I would get one just because. But nah, not right now. What do y'all think? Is this a win, a loss? I heard that Elon Musk lost like $700 million of personal wealth when this was released. The stock just plummeted. But it was like 145,000 pre-orders of the truck. So some people like it. One thing is for sure. One thing is for certain. You're going to see it on the road. Excuse me. You will see it on the road coming up here pretty soon. Now, that's going to stand out. You're going to have a big bullseye on your back. But I think there's so much security in this vehicle that it'd be hard for you to steal it or anything like that. Because who's going to have this truck just in your town randomly? If you steal this big truck with all the security and technology in it, you're going to get found out. So ain't no point in trying to steal that bad boy there. Alrighty. So shout out to Elon Musk pushing the envelope, trying to do something different. But let me get to my next call. 731, you're in line. Who am I speaking to?
This is Dayton Thompson.
Alrighty, what's going on?
All right, I was just wanting to call in, and I was wanting to ask you, with all the liberal and far leftist ideas that are just being thrown out there into the battleground, politically speaking, I just wanted to know, where do you think that they're going to draw the line? Because from what we see now, we got transphobia, and not transphobia, but trans people, and how that's just supposed to be normalized and stuff like that, and just all the craziness going on. What do you think is going to be the line that's finally crossed, or do you think there's even going to be one at all?
That's a good question. Now, if you ask me, the line has been crossed a long time ago, and the left are trying to get this. Okay, you have the far left, and you got people like AOC and others that are out there leading the far left, in my opinion. Nancy Pelosi is kind of like the traditional, confirmed leftist, establishment. She's trying to bring it back to where they are, which is just on the left, not in the center, but just on the left, right in between a centrist and a far leftist is where most Democrats are. They're trying to bring it back there, but it might be a little bit too late to bring it back. So I think the line has already been crossed, and what's going to end up happening is people that are on the left are going to leave the left, and it's happening more and more every day. They're leaving in droves, and the right will become more popular for a very long time because the left will pretty much just back themselves into a corner, and they won't have any way to get out. So the line's already been crossed, in my opinion, and it's not much that can be done to go back the other way from their point of view.
All right.
But the average person will not be over there.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with you. One last question. How do you think? I'm not sure. I'm actually sitting here writing a paper for a philosophy class on the effects of social media, and personally, I think social media has a lot of effect when it comes to politics in today's time. But how do you think that we got to the point where leftists just decided to start going even farther left? I mean, it just, JFK is rolling in his grave right now. If he was alive today, I mean, he would not identify with the left at all.
Well, what's happening is that the left have kind of put themselves into a weird situation. They are trying to fight the right by engaging in some of these like identity groups and promising them certain things and trying to fight like invisible strawmen that don't exist. Racism, sexism, all kind of things that don't really exist in a true way. Not enough to fight. So when you keep having your message be about that and you realize that you're losing people at the same time, all you can do is keep going down that direction, because if you go the other way, you're going to lose more people. So they went down the wrong direction, but they're too far deep. It's like digging the tunnel and it collapses behind you. But you can't
falling down the rabbit hole is what they've done at this point.
That's correct. And they can't go back the other way. All they can do is keep going forward. But as they go forward, they're going to continue to just get further and further away from the top. And at the end of it, it's going to be all done.
I completely agree. Well, ABL, thanks for taking my call, man. I'm a first-time caller. I've been watching the show for a long time now. But keep up the good work, spread the good news. But thanks for taking my call.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right, you have a good one.
All right, shout out to the caller. Most certainly appreciate him. And thank you all for being here. I appreciate you guys as well. All right, let me get to my next call. Let's go 602. You're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hello?
Yeah, 602. Who am I speaking to?
Oh, my name is Troy. I'm sorry. I'm watching the show.
Yeah, turn that down in the background for me, please.
My name is Troy Salisbury. I'm in Phoenix, Arizona, and I'm a Patriot and also an ABL follower.
All righty. So what's going on? You're live on the show.
Oh, well, I'm so proud to talk to you, ABL. You're a good man, and it really shocks me that there's a lot of the white and the black community coming together, and this is beautiful.
Oh, definitely. I think people are starting to realize that this whole race thing is kind of BS, and we got really bigger fish to fry, and we got to focus on that rather than trying to divide ourselves along the racial lines. Let's get together and really fight against what the real problem is, which is the left trying to be overbearing in society.
Yeah. And, in part with that is that, I grew up, I was born in 1984. So I was told during the 90s that, go along a certain way. And the 90s was a good time. But I think that was the most unifying time so far. In the 90s, but I know that you were born in the same 80s era.
84, same year.
Same year, yeah. God bless you. But it was just amazing that there's this divide that was going on throughout our history. Even I'm in my 30s, you're in your 30s, and there's this divide that's trying to push us away from each other. And I love every American, regardless. And I'm a very passive person. I don't want to hurt anybody. I don't want to harm anybody. I just want to say that I commend you so much that I've been watching your content, and I have so much respect for you, more than you know. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you for the kind words in the call. I definitely appreciate you.
Thank you, ABL.
All right. Shout out to the callers. You guys are great tonight. I appreciate y'all. And thank you all for watching. If you have not done so, please give the video a thumbs up, share it. And if you're not subscribed, I don't know what you're doing, go ahead and subscribe right now. That'll do me a tremendous favor. Thank you to the super chatters right quick. I'm going to read you guys as I'm going to get to the next call. Shout out to my man Zach, who says, thanks to ABL for taking my call. Was super nervous as a first-time caller. Thanks for taking my call and bearing on my shaky voice. Hey, it's all good, man. Thank you for calling, and thank you for your super chat. I definitely appreciate you. Thank you to Bucarlet Buffalo, who says, I'm from Muncie, Indiana, and the corrupt Democrats here go back decades. Feds been here a while. They busted more than Mayor Tyler. We just elected Republican mayor. Well, hey, there it is. No, it's you got a corrupt, system that is there, and it's kind of hard to get it out. Get your own little swamp in your particular place. Thank you for your donation. I definitely appreciate you. Thank you to Jake C, who says, hey there, ABL. Can you give me a shout out? Longtime fan. Love you and love your show. Keep it up. Well, shout out to you, Jake. I appreciate you for the donation. I definitely appreciate you, boss. Thank you to Bucarlet Buffalo, who says it's Heather Swanson. I'm not sure what that question, I'm not sure what that was referring to, but thank you for your donation. And that's pretty much everybody for now. Let's get back to the calls. And you guys on the drill, the number to call is 434-658-1220. 502, you on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Well, I didn't know I was going to get through. I thought you might have closed early. This is Tim from Kentucky.
All righty, Tim. What's going on?
And it's about all that debate going on with the liberal Democrats and all. And I watched your show the other night, and a whole lot of people was talking about gay. Now, I'm gay, but I'm also Republican, so you can't judge a whole group of people by the actions of a few.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, so, I mean, I just want to get that out there to the ones that's talking about gay people, so. And then I want to get something else out there. It's about the gun rights. They're trying to take gun rights away, and they say, why do you need an AR-15? Why do you need an AK-47? Well, if the government rises up in tyranny against the American people, they need something of the same sort to be able to fight back, right?
That's right. That's right. I mean, even if it ain't the government, I mean, I've seen home invasions where you have multiple people that break into a house all armed. So you wouldn't be able to defend yourself the best way possible. So, that should be a thing you have the right to possess.
Right, and I agree with you there, but I'm just saying they want to know, why do you need those certain type of guns? Well, you need certain type of guns just like the government got. Now, they won't let us have full automatics unless you got 20, 30,000, buy one before 1986 it was made that's legal, and then you have to go through all kind of paperwork and get it registered. But now, I'm not going to be able to buy none of those because I don't make that kind of money to waste on a gun.
Right, I'm with you.
But the AK-47s, the SKSs, the AR-15s, the AR-10s, they are somewhat comparable to those.
Right.
Now, you could take a handgun and fire just as fast as the AK-47 does, or just as fast as the AR-15, right? So, and now they're wanting to ban the 9mm handguns.
Yeah, I think the objective is to...
I think it was Joe Biden.
Yeah, I think the whole point is to ban everything because they use certain language. They say, oh, it's semi-automatic. Well, I mean, most guns in the market are semi-automatic. I mean, if you don't have those, you're going to have pump action shotguns or, the flint action, flintlock pistols, single like bolt action rifles.
Right. Well, I mean, even revolvers are semi-automatic if they're the double action. You just pull the trigger.
Right. Yeah.
But the thing about it is, they don't know what they're talking about when they say fully semi-automatic. Well, it's either full automatic or a semi-automatic. It's not both. It's
right.
Not fully semi-automatic.
Exactly. It's like that's a double negative. Fully semi. I mean, which one?
Yeah. Right. Yeah. And I mean, it's just Hitler banned guns in Germany, and then he led all Jewish people to slaughter, right?
That's right. I said that at
So
Politicon.
what's going to keep our government from doing the same thing to American people?
Exactly. And it always happens.
It seems like they want to do away with all the Americans that's here now and let new ones come in, which we all immigrated over here, but we done it legally, you know. Now, back in when the forefathers come over, they stole it from the Native American Indians. So I can't say nothing there because we all immigrated over here somehow, some way, sometime.
I mean, see, the thing,
most of us done it legally.
See, the thing about it is, if a land is already inhabited by people, and then others come in and they want to take it over, the people that are there are not going to be like, hey, let's not fight against it. Let's just let them take and do whatever they want to our land. They're going to try to fight. I mean, there was wars with the native people. That's how it is. Now, if one side wins and one side wins, that's how it is all throughout the world. But we're not going to just lay down and just be like, yeah, come on over here, take it over. We don't want it. That's not how this works.
Right. And that's what I say. That's why we need the guns that's out here today, is because of tyranny, and the government could take it away from us if we don't.
Yeah.
If we just had flintlock pistols and black powder guns and pump action shotguns, well, we wouldn't even give them a chance to. We wouldn't even have a chance against the government.
Right.
Well, I appreciate you taking my call, and I just want to get that out there to you and let people think about that.
Well, thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
And I appreciate you out there doing what you're doing.
All right, no problem.
And keep on doing what you're doing.
Oh, will do, always.
All right, I appreciate it. And you have a great night.
All right, same to you now.
Bye-bye.
All right, shout out to the caller. Great call. Fantastic call. You guys are doing great tonight with the calls. You know, I could just sit back and just, take calls and just let y'all kind of run the show. Absolutely. Yeah, but what I was saying, nations build, other nations fall. That's just how it is. That's just the way of man. But we're not going to just sit here and just allow ourselves to be overtaken by people that when they come in and invade. That's not how this thing works. That's just not what we're going to be doing here. We're just going to make sure that we can defend ourselves against invaders. You're not going to invite an invader into your home. You got a guy banging on your door, let me in. And you don't want him to come in. What, you going to just open the door? That doesn't make any sense. Let me get to the next call, though. 843 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
ABL, this is Tyler in South Carolina. What's going on, buddy?
Everything's good, man. What's happening?
Oh, just taking in your show, enjoying it as usual. Hey, a couple quick ones. Did you catch the latest cancel victim was the Victoria's Secret's fashion show?
Yeah, I saw that, but
you did anything and somehow I missed it this week or what? But what's your take on that?
Now, I saw that, but I couldn't really find what happened. Like, I'm hearing different things. I'm hearing that, it wasn't enough, quote unquote, trans women, women of color, disabled. I don't know what's going on with the whole thing. I'm hearing different things, but it's a shame if they canceled it because it was not enough inclusion or it's always something. I can't even really put my finger on it. Maybe women are being objectified. I can't really call it, man. Like, I'm gonna look into that and see why they canceled it, but I don't really know right now.
Yeah, because I mean I see what BuzzFeed says. We all know we can't trust what BuzzFeed says. So I mean, but they're saying basically what you're saying. But yeah, the CEO of marketing was even fired this summer because he didn't want to give in to the transgender that type of thing. But and then one other thing, did you catch Biden's best gaffe? It was real quick, but did you notice that he coined a new phrase of Blafrican American? Did you catch that?
No, I didn't hear that one. Blafrican. That's hilarious.
Bro, catch that. It's classy, man. I think he was just going to say, he's an older white man, so it would just be natural, to roll out, a black person. And I think he tried to change it and clean it up and go with African American, and it come out as Blafrican Americans.
Wow.
You got to check it out. Yeah, go back and watch that. It was a nice little treat.
That's funny.
Between that and watching Pete, pouting and then Kamala grandstanding as usual, it was another, but like I said, it's just boring at this point. But we know the man's gonna win in 2020, so it's all good.
That's right.
But hey, man, my family, we all appreciate you. Keep doing what you're doing, man. We enjoy your show, bro.
All right, thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right, bro.
Hey, shout out to the caller. Great call all the time. Blafrican. That is funny. Shout out to Creepy Joe for the gaffes. 972, you on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Yes, sir. Hello?
Yes. Who am I speaking to?
Mike.
All righty, Mike. What's going on?
I actually have a question. I'd like to know how you can interest people to understand math, especially for, black people, when everybody is saying that it's not good to understand anything about anything now.
Okay.
That makes sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. I'm going to answer you, but I got a little bit of feedback in the background. If you could turn your sound down for me, that'd be good.
Oh, no. Yeah, Anthony. Yeah, okay.
Okay.
There we go.
All right. Yeah.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you well. So about this whole thing about math and, everything somehow being racist or offensive or wrong. I mean, at a certain point, we just got to be able to fight lies with truth. And
well, exactly, sir. But the reality is this that bothers me is that everybody is telling, like, these universities are telling people that math is wrong. That's somehow some kind of white privilege, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to really combat that because you have people, and I've seen this happen, people that travel to different colleges, speakers, they get hired to speak and say things like that to teachers and the kids. So the kids are being told a thing by speakers, so are the teachers. So they're getting hit from all different directions. So I think the best thing to do would be just to kind of start from an early age raising kids. Once they get to be in college and there's this whole system that's on them, it's kind of hard to really combat that. People got to take better control of their kids when they're young, and also just kind of like let them know what's going to be out there when they get to the world, and try to keep them from some of these quote unquote colleges where they get indoctrinated. But beyond that, I'm not really sure. Also, to have some kind of information campaign to combat the misinformation that's out there. So guys like myself and many others just put real things out there to tell these kids, hey, don't be controlled by these liars. Don't let them stifle your growth. And maybe just kind of promote some of the careers you can do with math in it, so they understand what the application of math will be, rather than just hearing one message all the time that math is racist and wrong.
Agreed. But again, how do you reach people who are basically, the public school system, and not all of the public school systems yet, but the leftists are making a major drive towards making everything completely all about leftism. And leftism is completely, as you've seen, it's anti-fact. It's anti-anything.
Yeah.
They literally say that math is white supremacy. That's crazy. So how do you combat that when you're talking to, a person of color? That's a PC way of saying you're black.
Yeah.
Or you're Hispanic, or you're, Chinese, whatever. Fine. Okay, so we all change our language. How do you change somebody's mind when they're actually attacking mathematics itself? I mean, this is literally 2 + 2 = 4. This is what George Orwell was talking about. 2 + 2, remember, in the book. But anyway, 2 + 2 equals 5. They made, what's his name say? And that is exactly what happened in Soviet Russia. And that is exactly what's happening right now. Everybody is destroying. Everybody being all of the media, all of the social networks, all of this. They're all silencing all of their opponents, and they keep doing this over and over again. So how do you fight against this?
Well, when a person
before you say anything, I'm sorry, please. Nazi Germany did the exact same thing on a much smaller scale because at that point there were no social networks, there was no world media, there wasn't anything. If you look at how Hitler rose to power, was the exact same way that the Democrat Party is doing it, in my opinion. Sorry.
Okay, well, the thing about when people are convinced of a thing that they believe to be true, you can't do a whole lot to convince them otherwise. If you're trying to like directly talk to them and tell them, hey, don't believe that, believe this, it's hard. It's like Bible thumping. Sometimes it kind of can just turn people off and make them become more entrenched where they are. And the best way I've been able to change minds is just kind of like by leading by example. If math is important, if math is not racist, just show people that have succeeded with math that are black or whatever the particular non-white race is. Just show it to people. And then if they want to buy into it, if they want to accept it, then they accept it. If they don't, then they don't. But that's why I was talking about earlier, you have to get them when they're young so you can avoid trying to change a person that, quite frankly, does not really want to be changed. Like when I was still on the left, you really couldn't convince me that my way of thinking was wrong. I had to just find it out for myself through observing things that are just going on. That's pretty much the only thing you're going to really be able to do, quite honestly.
Well, no, agreed. What bothers me, again, is just simply we're not able to agree that literally 2 + 2 equals 4 anymore.
Yeah.
In the universities, we literally can't do that. Anyway, what worries me more is that we are not able to reach. And I mean, I've been listening to your show for a little while, and what bothers me is almost everybody calls them as white. That's a problem to me, because it's like, how is it nobody really sees what's going on that typically vote Democrat, the minorities, right? So how can we reach people if we can't reach people by saying that there's mathematics? Mathematics is a fantastic place to, not a place, it's just reality. It underpins the entire universe, and there are people who have no care about it. They don't care about it. They only, if you only care about how many grams of Coke you have, or whatever. You see what I mean? If that's all you care about as far as mathematics, like how much money do I have, and you don't see the beauty of it outside of it, we've lost something as a civilization. We've lost something as a humanity. We've lost something intrinsically within ourselves if you cannot see the beauty of the universe. And that, I think, is what's really hurting us all. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's where you're coming from, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. That's where I'm coming from. There's something more than everything we see. I believe you're a Christian as well, correct?
Nah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, that's your decision. Anyway, for me, I am a Christian. I see things mean everything. Oh, I have faith in God. Doesn't mean you have to, obviously, but there is a reason for all of this, and there's the math. Like I was talking about with mathematics, it's very easy to see that. I mean, you do have to agree it's odd that we can actually land on the moon
right.
through mathematics. Yeah, I mean, so anyway, I don't know. For me, again, there's a lot more in this universe than we know, because we literally don't know anything about the universe.
That's right.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
All right. So my thing is, there's this great big universe out there, and we're all concentrating on nothing, basically. Just little petty squabbles everywhere else.
I'm with you, but I got a lot of calls on the line, so I thank you for the call. I definitely appreciate you.
Thank you for talking to me. I appreciate it.
All right, thank you.
You're a good man. Bye.
All right, shout out to the caller. Most certainly appreciate him. Nippin, what's going on?
Oh, not much. I mean, before I start, I just want to let you know that I will be on next Wednesday as well. Well, Wednesday your time, Thursday mine. Because my boss has given me a day off. Because she's out all day.
Okay.
So she's given me a day off on Thursday, which means I will be back on Wednesday night as well. Yeah, Wednesday night for you, Thursday morning for me.
Do you guys observe Thanksgiving over there?
Nah.
Okay.
But yes, she gave me a day off because she's busy all day with something else.
Right.
So yeah, Prince Andrew has been banished. I mean, I didn't get time to watch all the videos, but so I was watching the Prince Andrew video while I was waiting for you to pick up. Yeah. So yeah, he's been relieved of all his duties.
Oh yeah. They got to get him out of here.
Yeah. Now, I don't know what to take on that. I mean, was an explanation given?
Well, the Epstein interview, of course.
And that's why he was sacked.
Yeah. Have you, you saw the interview, didn't you?
No, I listened to your video while I was waiting to be while I was waiting to be answered.
Yeah, so go back to the video I did and look in the description box. I posted a link to the video, so you got to see it. He was talking about, he said the one thing that got to me was when he said that he went to Epstein's house in 2010 and stayed for 4 days. This is after he got convicted the first time of the child molestation, rape, whatever it was, in 2008. So at this point, he's already a pedophile and everybody knows it. But
who, Prince Andrew?
No, Epstein. Epstein got convicted in 2008. In 2010, Prince Andrew went to Jeffrey Epstein's house and stayed there for 4 days.
Okay.
So it's okay, why are you going to a pedophile's house for 4 days? What are you doing? He said he went over there to end the friendship. Why do you need to go to somebody's house to end the friendship? Obviously, he's doing something he shouldn't be doing over there.
Right. Well, it's not uncommon for the left to be part of pedophilia and stuff. I mean, I didn't know that. What's his name? Prince Andrew was part of this whole SJW thing. I mean, royals and SJWs. I mean, oh my God, no.
Are they linked together over there, the royals and the SJWs?
No.
Okay.
Which is why I'm confused.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't understand what you mean.
Yeah. So yeah, and now there's climate change activists shut a game down.
Yeah. Now what happened was the Harvard and Yale football game got postponed because some climate change activists got onto the football field and they couldn't play anymore because they wouldn't leave the field.
Okay. So they didn't leave the field?
No, they didn't leave, and it was like 100 people on the field. They wouldn't get off, and people were getting arrested, all because they said that Harvard and Yale had an endowment that donated to the fossil fuel industry, so they were contributing to climate change. And they said they won't get off the field until they fix that whole situation. They were just protesting the money.
Wait, how was this NFL game contributing to climate change?
It was Harvard and Yale. It was college football.
Yeah, but how are these interlinked?
Okay, you missed what I said. I said that they had an endowment, which is a fund that is given to the colleges.
Okay.
They said that the endowment money was going towards the fossil fuel industry.
Yep.
So they're saying that's the reason why they're protesting.
Oh, because they were giving money to the fossil fuel industry.
Yeah.
So they just held up an NFL game for no reason.
College, not NFL, college.
Oh, what's the difference? It's still played in the same way, isn't it? The same ball.
Yeah, but the NFL, that's an actual league. So you got the National Football League, then you have college football. National Football League is the pros, college is the amateur.
Yeah, where people learn, right?
Yeah, supposedly.
So yeah, but we call what you call football. I'm sorry, what we call football here, you call soccer.
Right.
So yeah, this has happened a lot in. Sorry, I'm going to say football. If you don't, yeah, this has happened a lot in football as well. Well, sometimes it was for a valid reason, other times not so much. For example, once England were in Bulgaria for the qualifiers for the Euros in 2020, a European tournament where all the countries in Europe compete for a trophy.
Okay.
So yeah, they were in a qualifier against Bulgaria. Yeah, and some of the fans were showing no respect signs, say yes to racism, and doing Nazi salutes. I was like, yeah, fair enough. But I saw some other but then there was some unreasonable one, like I think it was a year or so ago, that Manchester City were playing Chelsea FC, the team I support, by the way, in a game, in a league match, in which supposedly a Chelsea fan said something racist to a black Manchester City player. And now there was a black person sitting behind the Chelsea fan. And then he said that it wasn't a racist thing. Now the black person is saying they said nothing racist. And yet the football player, just so that he could get attention on social media, started to play victim.
Yeah, that's the race hoax stuff. That happens a lot all over the world.
And speaking of, and then there was another thing involved again with Manchester City. This time, one of their wingers put a picture of his teammate next to a black thing as a joke. They were friends. He did it as a joke, and the black person, his black friend, found it funny. But oh no, the media just had to say, oh, it's offensive. Da 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 da. Now, if the black person found it funny, then the media's argument is irrelevant.
Exactly. I mean, like, let the person that was a quote unquote victim figure out if he's actually a victim or if he's not a victim. Don't try to don't try to like interject on a person's behalf. It's not right.
Exactly. For example, if the target finds it funny, then it's not racist.
Yeah.
If the target doesn't find it funny and takes offense, then yes, it's racist. And for that reason, the footballer got a 6-match ban. 6 matches. And he was one of their most important players. He got a 6-match ban.
Right. I'm with you, Nippin. But hey, I got a lot of calls on the line still, so I'm gonna go ahead and get to some more.
Oh, I'm sorry. Can I just say?
No. I got more calls.
Sorry. Yeah, I'll talk to you about the debate on Thursday.
Okay.
So yeah, I'll see you on Thursday.
Thursday your time, Wednesday my time.
Yeah, I'll see you then.
All right.
Peace.
All right. Thank you to Nippin for the call. Most certainly appreciate him. Good old Nippin. All right. Let's get to the next call. 732, you on the line. Who am I speaking to?
ABL, what's up, kid? It's Chris from Jersey tonight.
All righty, man. What's going on?
How are you, sir?
Hey, I'm well. Can't complain.
Yeah. I just got out of work a little while ago, so I didn't really get to listen to the whole show yet. Well, I'll go back to it. But I was going to ask you, what do you think of the whole vaping situation, what Trump is doing? Like, what's your thoughts on that?
Now, I don't know about the update because I heard about it was like some kind of screaming match or something in the White House, but I don't know about the update. So, I heard he was trying to ban. Excuse me. I heard he was trying to ban vaping. Then he kind of backed off. So, what's happening now?
What I saw the other day on Fox, I guess they had a bunch of people from Juul, different companies in the White House. They had Juul in there, a few other different companies that were voicing their opinion about about the product and what they're pushing out. And they had Rami in there and stuff. And I guess they had a big discussion on what's safe and what's not safe, flavors and it's not flavors and other parts of the whole vaping situation. So I was wondering what you thought about it. Like, do you think it's safe? Because like my brother personally, he's a big vapor and he's totally against them shutting down flavors and this and that, and he's fine. He's okay personally, healthy wise. So I was just wanting to see what you thought about the whole vaping situation.
Well, okay, I'm gonna answer this, but I gotta tell you from the beginning, I'm anti-drug, period. So I don't want to come across as biased. I'm gonna try to be objective. Like, I'm against alcohol. Like, I'm a teetotaler. I only like medication in my house. I only keep Tylenol in here. So I'm really kind of like strong against
Me
that.
too.
So right. Now, I think also what has to be known is that Juul is owned by Big Tobacco. That's one thing that has to be known. And they are also they have the biggest share of the vaping industry. So Big Tobacco has, huh?
No, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry. I was going to say, no, that's pretty crazy too. Like I was going to say, these companies they're huge. They all have like their hands are in cigarettes too. So I just don't understand like what the big issue is here too. Like with their hands are in the tobacco industry and non-tobacco. So I was going to say, I'm sorry to cut you off. Good.
Yeah. So I mean, Juul is owned by Big Tobacco. Big Tobacco has 75% of the vaping industry because that's what percentage Juul has. So when you see Juul, you got to think Big Tobacco as well. But moving right along, I think a lot of people that vape to stop smoking, they don't like the tobacco flavor. They like the other flavors. And I know people personally, very close family members that have stopped smoking after 20, 30 years due to vaping the flavors. So for that purpose, I think that it makes sense. And I think it was misguided at first to ban every flavor but the tobacco for people that wanted to stop smoking because they didn't really understand that whole life. And the bigger issue that didn't come up from what I heard was the THC cartridges, which a lot of times are counterfeit and come from China. And the people that the people that are getting sick are usually almost exclusively, from what I hear, using the counterfeit cartridges, and they got all kind of heavy metal and stuff like that. That's what's causing the illnesses. That did not get brought up. So I think that's the main thing that should be cracked down on are the illegal cartridges that are filled with all kind of dangerous chemicals. The stuff from Big Tobacco, I don't think is dangerous like the counterfeit stuff from China.
Yeah. That's pretty exactly the thing my brother said. He's like, dude, a lot of he's like he buys it directly from people from the USA, manufactured from the USA, inside the country. And he's like, dude, if they're gonna ban this, like, people are gonna buy this stuff, like whether they like it or not, they're gonna buy it outside the country, and we don't know what's gonna be inside of it, like. But I prefer using this way, or I have this in a cigarette, and it's kind of productive in a way. Like cigarettes are bad for you. We know that. Everyone knows that cigarettes are terrible for you. So how do you eliminate, cutting down a different way of the influence of cigarettes, and then just cutting off everything else that you know of, Like you want to, okay, you have the patch, you have the other substances you can use, but then you cut off something people that like to have, and then they're gonna go resort to the black market, which could be 10 times worse for you. You know, and so it's a big problem too.
Now, I think the issue, I think an issue that can be addressed is what they did with cigarettes, which is regulate the marketing. You can't market cigarettes on billboards, magazines, television. You can't do that. It's illegal to do that. So I think the same thing should be done with vaping, because it is a nicotine product at the end of the day. If it did not have nicotine, it'd be a different story, but it is a nicotine product. Like I said, Big Tobacco owns it. It's a different way to get you hooked on nicotine. And then if you can't get the vaping or whatever, you just get to a cigarette. Sometimes for people that aren't cigarette smokers, vaping can be a way to get hooked on nicotine. And now Big Tobacco has you. So to prevent kids from getting a hold of it, regulate the marketing the same way you do with the cigarettes. Because back in the day, you can have a comic book with a cigarette ad in it. Obviously, they're trying to get kids hooked on it if you have a ad for cigarettes in the comic book. So you can't do stuff like that anymore. Just regulate the marketing, and I think adults will be able to find it without it being attractive to them like the way it would be to a child who sees it as cool and edgy. And also regulate some of these influencers on Instagram, because you got kids that's like 16 and 17 sponsored by Big Tobacco going out here making vaping look attractive to kids. So regulate that stuff, and I think you'll be able to get a better happy ground rather than just ban vaping altogether or banning the flavors that people want that are adults.
Yeah, hell yeah, man. I agree. I definitely agree. All right, man. Thanks for taking my call, man.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
I appreciate
Oh, I'm sorry, I hung up on him. But shout out to my man. Definitely appreciate him. But to break it down right quick, okay, there's an argument about vaping. You have these, okay, like here's a little pencil. This is a vaping stick, right? You could put a cartridge in it, and the cartridge could have different flavors, and it has nicotine in it. So it's like it's like a cigarette, but it's not. It doesn't have the harmful tobacco smoke. That's the whole point. It's just vape. It's vapor. It's not smoke. So it doesn't do the damage to your lungs the way that burning paper would do, and tobacco and stuff like that. It's like inhaling smoke. You know, people don't die in the fire from being burned. They die from the smoke before they get burned to death. But that's a different story. Anyway, it's for a safer way to smoke nicotine. And people that are trying to stop smoking will have their vape stick with a certain amount of nicotine in it. And then they just gradually set nicotine down until they can just smoke it with no nicotine. And then they are not hooked on cigarettes anymore. That's how it generally works. But the problem is that kids are being marketed to in very clever ways. I worked in marketing for a long time, since I was 21, and I still kind of do it here and there. So I know how advertising works. They do little stuff that you don't even really notice. And when I was in college talking about advertising, when I was in college taking the advertising class, the guy that was teaching it, he was a good teacher, by the way. Shout out to him wherever he is. He was saying that advertising can sometimes happen to you. You don't even know it. Little cues that they just put out there. Social media is a big place for it. You got people doing tricks. You got some of the flavors being mentioned in other ways that aren't directly related to vaping. That kind of marketing can attract kids that are under the age of being able to smoke. They go out there, they want to do it. They want to do tricks and stuff. But the key in vaping is the nicotine in it. And you got these kids, 14, 15 years old, vaping in school, in the bathroom, being hooked on the nicotine, the same as cigarettes were back in the day. Now you got a whole generation of people that smoke cigarettes all over again. That's the whole thing. So to prevent that from happening, get the marketing regulated to where you can't have these, things out there that attract kids. Let it be for adults by controlling the marketing. Yeah, Joe Camel, exactly. Remember Joe Camel? Hey, they had cigarette commercials and comic books. Like, I was a big comic book guy. It'd be a big full-page ad. Cigarettes. Yep, especially the old stuff. But you can't do that anymore. Make parents should be responsible, yes, but at a certain point, society has got to do things that will protect children. You understand? Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. Zoltan, that's a great thing. He says, in 90s movies, the smoking was more direct. These decades, it's more reverse psychology. Yeah, it's little stuff they do to you to make you just want to do certain things. You know, a lot of these cell phone games are the same way with the way they market to you to make you spend money on them with the microtransactions. That's a whole different story. I don't even want to get into that. I might even do a whole video about microtransactions in cell phone video games. You know, most of the games nowadays, most revenue nowadays comes from microtransaction in video games. They can give you a game for free and make more than they would by selling the game because of in-game purchases. Small purchases that add up to a lot. The Marlboro Man, you know, Joe Camel, obviously things that were trying to get kids. You got a whole cartoon character as your mascot. He looks cool, all this and that. You know, it's trying to attract kids because when you get somebody young, you're able to get them hooked. Now you got a lifelong customer. It's the same thing with the drug game, with crack and stuff like that. Get them early. Now you got a custody for life. Cools, all kind of stuff. It's marketing. All right, let's get to the next call. Oh, I had somebody, but I didn't answer quick enough. Yep. So I may do a video about that, actually. I did not see that shouting match. I just heard about it, but I'm going to do a video about that. Rooster says, vaping contest pandering to kids on YouTube. You can get rich for doing stuff with a vape. Try it. Dumb A, no boomers. Zoomers are so smart. Ain't they idiot with a lot of answers on what your dad buys? I didn't quite get that one. But yeah, like the vaping stuff is the marketing is just really is just directed. It's the same thing they did back in the day with the Marlboro Man and Joe Camel. It's just different for 2020, 2019 going into 2020. It's the same thing. Just a cleverly done marketing scheme to get you hooked on nicotine at a young age. 808, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, you're speaking to Nick from Hawaii.
Alrighty, Nick, what's going on?
What up, ABL? I'm a real big fan. I've tried to call you before, but it never gets going through. So I'm surprised I went through this time.
Man,
but I want to talk about Tulsi Gabbard and about her Democratic debate.
Go for it.
What did you think about it?
I didn't really see much different than what she would normally say. I think there was one moment that kind of caught me, which was the little cat fight between her and Kamala Harris. And I think Kamala Harris was prepared to try to attack her because last time Tulsi Gabbard obliterated her, wiped her off the map, might have, quite frankly, ended her whole campaign at that particular point. So she was prepared to come back at her, but Kamala Harris did not have her talking points exactly right. It was kind of stumbling and stammery. And I think Tulsi Gabbard handled her well, but I didn't really see anything new from Tulsi Gabbard in the debate.
Yeah, the thing is, I don't understand why they're infighting, why they would be going after her if they're all trying to take over the presidency. Because in a way, she's actually done pretty good for our state, but I don't understand why they'd be personally attacking her.
Well, you know, everybody's trying to get that top spot. Everybody wants to be the top dog. Everybody wants to be everybody wants a nomination. So, you know, it's kind of like the same thing that was going on last year, but to a lesser extent. They're actually nicer than the Republicans were. I remember last time during the 2016 campaign, you had a lot of mudslinging going on. You had Ted Cruz about to fight Donald Trump, talking about, don't talk about my wife. You know, a lot of that stuff was going on. So, you know, it's just competition at the end of the day. And also, I think that a person like Tulsi Gabbard is not quite wanted by the Democrat Party or the establishment because she goes against what they want. They want to be able to get into a war if they want to. They don't want a person that's anti-war in there. So there could be some competition to try and get the nomination, but also it's a concerted effort from the Democratic Party to get Tulsi Gabbard out the way.
Yeah. And also, I wanted to also ask you, what do you think about the new rules that are coming down for the YouTube about how you'd have to make it for child only or not?
Yeah, that's a law that got passed by the FTC, and that's nothing to do with YouTube, really. That's just them trying to comply with the law. So,
affecting your channel at all? Because
Nah.
I know you have younger viewers.
Because my content is not directly for children. Like, The issue would be how it's interpreted. And if I don't know all the details exactly what's going to happen to your channel if you have a content, I know what's going to happen because I saw a video today. If you have content that is for kids, you will not be able to have a community section where you can post like messages on your page like you would do like on Facebook or something. You can't have the bell notification. So like when people subscribe to me, they can click the bell, and when they do that, they get notified when I post a new video or go live. You can't have that. I think it's so much you can't have either. You have limited features if your content is for kids, and it's done to protect kids, if I'm not mistaken. Now it won't affect me because my channel, while I may have some kids that watch, I don't have content that's for children. Like I don't have stuff that's like talking about toys or cartoons. It's just news. So it wouldn't affect me, but it may affect some people that talk about gaming or talk about, just kid stuff. But I don't have that kind of channel.
All right. Well, thanks a bunch for answering my call, and I really appreciate what you're doing out there, and hopefully I can talk to you again.
Well, thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Right on. Thanks, ABL. Aloha.
All right, now, aloha. All righty. Shout out to my man all the way from Hawaii, Tulsi Gabbard. Yeah, Tulsi Gabbard, she hasn't really done much to separate herself from the pack. Well, I say she has not done more than what she's already done. She's already pretty much made herself be kind of an outcast away from the Democratic Party. She's already done that before, but I've not seen anything that's new. Yeah, I do have a kid-friendly channel, but it's not for kids. You understand? Like, your channel can be family-friendly. Like, because YouTube is weird. YouTube does not want you to really be cursing and stuff like that. If I were to have a channel that was cursing, I would get punished as well. So they don't want you to be cursing, having like adult content with sex and stuff like that in it. They want you to be family-friendly, but if your content is for kids, like, kids channels, like it's cartoons, it's squeaky voices, opening toys, or, or family vlog where you got kids running around. I don't have that kind of channel. You have a kid side of YouTube. Like, my content is not going to be on YouTube Kids app, or the kids. It ain't going to be on that app. I have news content that is family friendly, just like anything else. Like if you watch the nightly news, you're not going to see people cursing and stuff like that. But it's not kid friendly. It's not for kids, basically. Although kids could watch it, it's not for kids. Yeah, and JVIP, exactly. I think that you gotta I think it'll be up to YouTube and their discretion about what is kid friendly and what's not. I think this law may kind of be revisited, and this whole thing may not actually go the way people think it's going to go. Because right now they're just following the law. If the law were to change or get repealed, rescinded, or whatever the case may be, then this whole thing will go away. So we'll see. But I'm going to do more research into that to see exactly what's going on. And I'm going to do a few videos probably on Monday about this. I might put some out on Thanksgiving. I might record some and put them out on Thursday for Thanksgiving just so they'll be there in case you want to watch it. Stuff like about YouTube Kids, the COPPA law, and other things. Alrighty. But yeah, the whole thing about demonetization and stuff like that, that's YouTube responding to the advertisers because they were pulling out ads and stuff like that. They were losing money. The whole thing with the kids, that's about the federal government. That's nothing to do with money or anything like that. They want to not do that because kid content is what they want. They want family-friendly content. They want kid stuff. They want that kind of, Nickelodeon. They want that to be the forefront of YouTube. They don't want the controversial stuff to be on there. So this right here actually hurts them. They don't want to do that. But we'll see. I think they won't be. I think they'll only be as strict as necessary to comply with the law. All right. So that's pretty much all I got. Yeah, Sushi. He says, getting a $45,000 fine for posting the wrong type of content is crazy. But it's not even YouTube that's doing that. It's a government. They can't. YouTube won't fine you for putting out content that's not what they want. The most they're going to do is just give you a strike, or at the worst, delete your channel. They won't fine you. That's the government doing that. So I think if we want this whole thing to change with the new law for kids and YouTube, you got to go to the government and petition them. Holla at Trump and say, hey, tighten that law up, man. I'm not really feeling it. And I think he would respond, just like with the whole vaping thing. Remember that. The flavors got banned. He was totally against it, and he reversed course when he saw that it was negative reaction. He listened to people. So talk to your local senators, your House rep, try to get to the president and say, hey, I don't want this law. Can you change it? Can we do something else? What's going on? I think that'll pretty much be it. Let me see. Hold on. BDB says, how do you feel about channels that cross gaming and comic books and politics and ideology? Here's the thing. If you're doing it with the intent to indoctrinate minors, you should be prosecuted. I don't know about that one. I mean, it's hard to judge intent. It's hard to really get a grasp on that, what somebody's intending to do. That could be a matter of opinion if you don't have evidence that they're trying to do it. It's tough. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how they actually go about doing this. How are they going to enforce it? What will the penalty be, and whatnot? I really don't know what's going to happen, but we'll see. Okay. I got to go ahead and roll on out. Thank y'all for being here. Definitely appreciate you. Shout out to Super Taters right quick before we go. Thank you to, hold on, Pilot Grove, who says, ABL just found your channel. So glad to find a sensible family of like-minded hosts and audience to searching for everyday truth. Carry on. Thank you for that. Very kind words. I definitely appreciate you. I like to have a family-friendly environment. We're all on the same page. That's what I like. You know, so thank you for the comments. I definitely appreciate you. And thank you to Chaz1422, who says, are you considering a run for office? You get lots of support. Don't run in a Democrat district. They'll disparage regardless of skill of the show. Hey, I thank you for that. I definitely appreciate you. I have thought about that. I get that question a lot. I get that question all the time. So maybe I do it. You know, I think that might be my calling. And I never would, if you were to ask me 4 years ago, would I be doing this? I'd be like, no. I never would have imagined I'd be right here, right now. Let alone, you know, people ask me, can I run for office? I never would have thought that before. But if I'm called to do it, then I'll do it. You know, just like Trump, he could have just kept being a rich guy, living his life, running businesses, getting money, playing golf. He still plays golf, but that's a different story. But he had a calling. It's like, look, I'm the guy that needs to be out here. I'm the chosen one. He had a calling. So if I have a calling, if I'm called to be the guy that runs, get into office, and make a change in my particular area, then so be it. I'll do it. All right. But that's all I got. Thank y'all for being here. Shout out to all the moderators. You guys are doing a great job as always. Liza Jean, Michelle A., Bill from the Hills, Omar Adams, Shreebs. Thank y'all for doing what you do. Sushi, of course. Eliza Jean, you guys are fantastic. I appreciate y'all. And shout out to everybody that donated through Super Chat, through the memberships, through the Super Chats. You guys are fantastic. Did I get everybody that's a new member? Shout out to Chris for becoming a new member. I appreciate you, boss. Shout out to Beloved for becoming a new member. And Blue Sky Shine. All right, I got everybody that's a new member. Thank y'all for being here and joining the stream, joining the channel, and all that good stuff. And until next time, y'all be safe. I'm out. And peace. And I will be here Wednesday and Saturday of next week. So if you're here, I'll be here, but I probably will not be doing videos on Thursday. I may do some, maybe I will, maybe I won't, but enjoy your holiday. If you're taking off right now, happy Thanksgiving. I'll see y'all Wednesday. Peace.